Hey, good night, everybody. Welcome to the Real Talk Show. I'm your host, Kyle Joseph, as I say, Unika Narayan, yes. And then we have, and then we have Unika Narayan in the house. How you going, Nix?
I'm good. Hi, my name is Karen Joseph. Just want to welcome
Yeah,
you.
I see I some, some lovely hair blowing today. I'm sure you'll
Yes,
have
I was it.
a lot of people will comment and say, "I love your hair, Unika. I love your hair." And then we have our special guest today, Marissa. Where's you seen Marissa?
Hi, I'm alright.
Marissa, you was on the show once already. I remember we talk about I think it's yoga and different things along that lines, and
Yeah,
you shared your story, and everybody really found it, powerful. And so I
yeah,
guess you're gonna bless a lot of people again tonight.
yeah. Some people stopped me the other time and said, "Hey, that was you that spoke," and yeah, and they
Okay,
stopped
okay.
doing it. By the way, they actually stopped with the yoga.
Wow, that's
Wow,
awesome.
that's great.
Did
Sorry,
they
I
know
didn't
you
tell you all
like?
that before. They
Nah, I
no, they
never
did
know that
not.
before.
No, they didn't know me. But when they met me, they realized I was the same person.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's like
Yeah.
people in work or something, and they realize
No,
based on
no,
you was
no,
on
no,
the show.
no.
Oh,
I
okay.
actually went to the hairdresser and she was like, "Was that you?"
Interesting.
And I said, "Yeah, it was." And she said, "Oh," she's like, "So really stop?" I was like, "Yeah, you need to stop." And she said, "Okay."
Wow.
That's great
Yeah,
stuff. Then. Nice for
yeah.
letting, and thanks for letting us know. Yeah, but and
Thank
then we
you.
have Ava and Mark in the house. Now I can introduce that. Before that, say, hey, we are Mark, and then we go to Ava. But the two become one. You realize they're sharing one screen now. So
Yeah.
what's the scene? How they going? You
We're
good?
sharing one vegetable.
Yeah, well,
Thanks,
you
Anita.
know,
Thanks.
we come just like Siamese twins now. But we are great. We want to say good night to you all. Hope that you all are going good. This is the end of a weekend where you can purchase food and thing on the outside. So I hope that you all you know, get ready
maybe
for the opening
maybe
up.
people in the comments can tell me where's the first restaurant they're looking to go to. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know. I
Right.
sure a lot to be KFC. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we
You.
are the topic of walking away from love and thing. I know a lot of people would have used the restaurants to go on dates and stuff like that. So, well, be
Well,
careful.
Right.
it actually it don't have dining yet though, so it's
Yeah,
Nah,
still
you can't find
takeaway.
it.
that's the
Yeah.
dangerous part because people have to go at the houses. So, that's why you have to be married.
True,
It's safe
true,
to
true.
be inside.
Anyhow, you go ahead, Eva. You handle the stories.
Good night, guys. Good night, Facebook. Good night for those of you who have been on YouTube as well. I try to never forget the YouTube family. Guys, welcome to another Real Talk show. I'm not going to stick because I'm really interested to hear what Marissa has to say, to be quite honest. So, guys, I'm sure you're in for a really good treat here. Maybe some good stories. I'm sure from the time you see our guests on the show, you know you're in for a real good story, right?
Yeah.
So make sure you tune in, get something to eat. Don't take too long because we're gonna go to them shortly. Get something to eat, get something to drink as they in for a treat, I'm sure, right? So tonight, relationships is always a crazy hot topic, right? So we talk about relationships. So our topic tonight is entitled "How to Walk Away from Love," right? So I'm just gonna read really quickly here from the page. So it says, some say that love is hard to find, but walking away from a romantic relationship gone bad is even harder. The pain can feel like you're ripping yourself away from something to which you are physically attached. So start to tell me one time, any of you all ever had that experience where you have to break up with somebody and it's that bad where you feel like you're with the words ripping yourself away from something to which you are physically attached. That is serious. So tonight we want to hear from you all. How do you walk away? That's what we're talking about. We're talking. We're gonna share how you can walk away and what are some practical things that you can do to walk away. If you yourself have been in a situation like this, feel free to share what you did, the steps you took, whatever you had to do practically, physically to make life easier and to make the process to actually make it happen. Because sometimes people, it's so hard, they stick, right? So that's what we're talking about. I'm sure I have a lot of you all out there who have stories to share. So please,
Yeah.
please share your stories, guys. I'm sure you'll have questions. You can ask Marissa anything you'll want.
Yeah. Also, Kyle and Onika has a wealth of information as well.
True, Carol will have his stories, right? So, guys, you're in for a treat. Begin to share the show right now. And of course, I can't forget this part. once you comment, once you share, once you like, you can qualify to win one of our giveaways. So because we are doing this virtually, we are doing Amazon vouchers, all right? So once you comment, you can be the winner of one of our Amazon vouchers, all right? There's 3 vouchers that we're giving away. So all you have to do is comment to be one of the winners. And I will announce the winners throughout the show. If this is your first time doing, welcome to the Real Talk Show. Kyle, take it away.
Hey, awesome stuff. I think Eva, I don't know if you have on your laptop. It was, I don't know, at times I was saying it like twice. So if it is, you just have to turn on the volume on the laptop a little bit. So tonight we'll be talking about, first thing first, a lot of people might want to know, walking away from love, because that might seem kind of strange as a comment, walking away, because most people when they're in love, they might say, well, why are you walking away from something that seemed good, right? Now, I encourage everybody watching this stream. I want you all to share this stream. It's going to be impactful for a lot of people. A lot of people know it is to go travel to banker, and then a lot of people don't know it is to let go. So I want to open up first to ask maybe Onika and Marissa and Ava and Mark, because I was asking Ava before, but she didn't really answer. Was there ever a relationship maybe I had to walk away from? Anybody here? I can say for me, the answer for me is yes. What about yourself, Mark and Ava?
Well, I'm a gentleman, so ladies first.
So that means the girl walk away from you.
Well, we don't know. We have to hear. I don't want to put any words in her mouth whatsoever.
We don't know.
Unless you was in a situation like that.
Oh, I just mean you.
No, I talk about you first. I want you to answer if you ever had to walk away or vice versa. Yeah.
Me, yes, I was a man in sin and in a relationship with the devil, and I really had to walk away from that relationship.
No, Mark, you say I'm being real, and I'm being practical. I'm in love with somebody, and I had to walk away. If the person walk away on you too, that is cool. But just asking if that was ever the situation where
I would say yes, but it wasn't so much. I wasn't in a relationship, but when I had just came to the Lord, I was in a relationship, but the person I was in a relationship with, they broke up with me because
good. So the other person left.
Yeah, and they broke up with me and did their thing. I saw it on Facebook, all the things they were doing. I guess I wasn't up to that speed, as I was not, I wasn't equally yoked with them. But
right.
Did their thing. It just so happened around the time when I gave my life to the Lord, they came back and tried to, reignite the fire. And it was hard, because, you want, this is the person you care about and you want to be with them. But, the pastor at that time, kind of God helped him to help me, tell me don't go back down in that relationship. And I had to walk away from it, not knowing if I would ever find love again. And here am I now, a testimony of God's faithfulness.
Both said Eva. I interested to know this, Eva. Let me hear you, Eva. It's a simple question you might answer, Eva.
Yeah,
give
exactly.
one long ring around, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's when you're trying to hide something. Right? Yes. But I know this show is talking about pulling away, feeling like if you're ripping apart. And to me, I never had that experience, to be quite honest. I very much willingly walked away from the relationship. So I mean, this might sound real bad and heartless, but I felt nothing.
All right, take win.
I'm not talking about like that.
You're not in love with somebody and don't feel nothing.
Well, maybe
you have to walk away from her.
If it's Mark, that's a different story. But he's asking me about my past experience.
To be honest,
I know, but
I love.
Right. I was walking away from love.
Where's that, Monica?
I didn't have to walk away so much as I had to let go, I would say, because the person walked away on me. So it wasn't so much me walking away, but I definitely.
You good, Gil?
Yes, so it wasn't me having to walk away, but it was difficult to let go though, because I, even though things were going bad, and I knew it was heading, to a collision at some point. Even though I kind of initiated the conversation to let's take a break kind of thing, right? But I honestly wasn't expecting the response I got. Like a real cool, well, okay, cool, yeah, well, let's. And I was like, I thought I would have been like a threat now. Like I had the upper hand, and that would have been like a threat, and he'd be like, no, well, let's not, But it was kind of like, okay, cool. And then I found out after that there was.
I will laugh hard, sorry. I control myself here.
Yeah, it was like that.
You good?
And then I found out after that there was somebody else on the scene. Which I didn't know, but
from the time you tell me that, I know that. That's why I
yeah,
laughed.
I
But go ahead.
didn't know that. And actually, his dad tried to tell me, and I didn't take on his dad. Tried to tell me that there was somebody. He was hinting it, and
Right.
I take him on. So it was hard to let go, and I actually did try. I actually did make attempts to get the relationship back and that kind of thing. So it certainly wasn't like an automatic thing for me. It was because even though I was pretty young, I was in my mind thinking that that I would get married to that person. So because I never wanted to have like ex-boyfriend. That was always my thinking now. Like you don't want to go from one boyfriend to the next. So my thinking was, hey, you meet somebody, you fall in love, you get married, and but it didn't work out that way. So it was hard to let go, but it was wonderful once I did let go. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. Well, but what was yourself, Marissa?
I had to walk away from a real serious one, and I guess that's why I'm on the
So only
program.
once you had to walk away?
Once I had to let go, once I had to walk away / let go, and that was it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's interesting to know. So from everybody listening, I guess everybody can know that we're talking from a place not necessarily just of thoughts, but also experience that we all went through this situation. And I guess maybe I'll ask you this first, right? I don't know the situation. Did you ever feel like you'd ever fall in love again? At the point in time? Like you'd ever think to yourself, well, I wonder if I ever meet somebody or, asking you genuinely. It could be a yes or it could be no, I don't know.
So at 19, walking away from a relationship, I still thought that the same guy was the one. Even walking away from it. We kind of ended on a note, well, if it's to be, it's to be. We will meet again in the future. And with that, I was in hope. So I tricked myself into feeling okay about leaving that situation, and it was a struggle leaving it. It was a struggle. I mean, months I felt like, oh my gosh, I don't think this guy really loved me, and he didn't come back for me. So I did feel a slight horror. And the other one, which is what we're going to talk about, that one was a struggle too. I will get more into that one later on. Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, if there's at the moment, like when you had to leave or whatever the situation was, if you ever felt like you mightn't.
I checked myself into leaving.
Because a lot of people actually feel that way, like when the time comes, maybe they had to make a decision. A lot of people in their heart, that's one of the reasons sometimes people feel like maybe I don't want to leave because I might meet somebody as good as this or us, that kind of way, right?
The last relationship was like that. He was like ultimate for me. He was my everything. So I felt like if I never gonna meet anybody like this again.
Wow.
Yeah, he was ultimate.
Ultimate. Huh? I would not ask you, Nika.
Even though I was heartbroken, I certainly didn't feel like that.
That the guy was the ultimate?
Yeah.
You didn't feel he was the ultimate?
No, yeah. Well, no, I didn't feel that even while I was with him. But I mean, I never had the thought that I can't get somebody else, like ever. No way. Like this is, maybe I was young. I don't know.
I mean, I felt like if I could have gotten, but I don't think I would have fallen. I don't think I could have fallen in love or would have, or it's near any future or anything like that, because he was so ultimate for me. Is like nobody could touch that.
Right.
Nobody.
Well, that's I'm interested to hear your story, because I mean, for you to say that the ultimate and you're walking away from the ultimate. We had to hear that story soon, right? So let's stay tuned. We're gonna get into that story. But Nika, we're talking about saying in love, everybody, in love and in a walk away. what is some reason some people might have to walk away from a relationship, Unika? Maybe you could give us a couple, and I'll hear from Mark and Eva and maybe Marissa. What about you? With some reasons you think people, you know, you're in this situation and maybe you're thinking love, with some reasons you might have to walk away from a relationship?
For one, if the person is continually being unfaithful, well, my thing is, this is just me. You know, if you're in a relationship with somebody, you're not married, you are courting somebody, and that person is unfaithful to you, for me, that would be an automatic end. Because if you can't be faithful to me while we dating, right? Especially if it happened more than once, then who gonna fool me to tell me that when we get married, you're not gonna be unfaithful to me, you know? And as life goes on, I'm gonna be getting older. You understand? And I have young girls. So if I couldn't trust you when we were courting, right? What's gonna be the difference when we get married, right? I always tell people, the altar, when you get married, that altar, when you say I do, nothing magical happens underneath in that altar. Nothing magical happens when you say I do. So it's the same man you're marrying who you was dating, who was unfaithful to you, same man you're gonna get married to. So for me, automatic end is if the person is unfaithful, especially if it's more than once. And not even unfaithful guys. I will even go as far as like if the person flirty. But if I realize together and I now start to get to know you and I find you real flirty with women and the thing, I ain't looking for that. You know, it's just right out.
Now I encourage everybody comments. You could put me your thoughts where you all think, you know, some reasons to walk away, because I'm sure everybody had their own thing. What about yourself? Let me hear from Mark. What's the reason you want to walk as a man? Let me hear as a man, you know, a woman. What's the reason you might not say, right, I bouncing, but I good?
Well, it's, different men have different things that they would be willing to, you know, they would be open to it in terms of a woman. But in general, I would say if as a believer, you look for somebody who is a believer as well. I mean, sometimes even believers doesn't be the right match with each other. I think you look for somebody who really has a relationship with God. Somebody who has you would know if somebody genuinely loves God. You would see it in the decisions they make, and also a good reason to leave a relationship, I would say, or a red flag is if there's a major sin in it, especially sexually. If you were good all the time and in the relationship you find that the person doesn't have any kind of self-control or conviction when it comes to sin, or any type of fight, or want to live right, you know, that's a red flag. And also you want to look for somebody that wants to serve God too, and everybody don't have to be doing the same thing, but somebody who have a desire to do something for God. I think that's good. And let's do this.
I think what would you say, Eva? That's a thought. Where you think for, you know, use a young lady to you are a man, you know, with one reason you think yourself in a relationship, and you're bouncing. With one reason you think you're a bump.
So I want to list something that they probably haven't listed. Like, probably if you realize the person has issues that they need to work out before they themselves could be ready in a relationship. So I would think, in summary, basically, like if you realize, it can even be you, if you or the person not actually ready or at a stage in their lives where they should be in a relationship, because that's obviously not healthy. So that could be like or another thing is abuse. Like if you realize the person abusive, when it be verbally.
Yeah, I was waiting for a woman to comment there. That's like a common one for women, but go ahead.
Yeah, whether it's verbally abusive.
Sorry, I missed it. I miss reading comments. What's a common one for women?
Abuse that they should walk away from.
I think you should even mention that every time, man. You know. That's I know people, yeah.
That's an actual common thing why people, a lot of women stay, they get abuse and different things, and they just stay in the relationship, you know. They don't want to be physical, even verbally. They say all kind of things about them, degrade them.
Or extreme anger. They display an extreme anger. Like they might hit you, but they might hit the wall when they vex and speed off it. I get I'm looking for drama in my life. I ain't looking for drama.
For the fellas watching you stream, let me hear. I mean, 'cause I know a lot of common one with women
A
that
man
people say
say if
abuse.
she can cook, he gone. A man say that if she can cook, I gone. He said, I said,
I think for some men, one is respect. I think a man should really consider that. If it is a woman very disrespectful, I don't think he should. I think it's something he should consider to walk away because it's very. If a woman is very disrespectful in the beginning, most of the times that will just change. Is a reason why she treating her, looking at that way, and most likely if she disrespectful, that situation not going to change. Most of the times, it would actually remain for a very very long while in a relationship because that is actually how she view you. For some strange, that's how it is. But what do you think, Marissa? What's our reason? We hear abuse, we hear different things. Let me hear.
Just not having anything in common after, like you change over a period of time and you realize that you and this person are in a common place and you have grown into two different people.
Okay, that's a reason you walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's what happened.
Making me laugh. Sorry.
Okay. That's what happened, is it? We commented on just now. Anything else you can think about Unika? Because some people listen and they generally want to know in their own relationship, what they should do or even what they shouldn't look forward to.
If the person is dealing with any kind of addiction, if the person
that's
addicted
a good
to
one.
pornography, if the person addicted to marijuana, if the person addicted to gambling, anything, cocaine, any drug, alcohol, if every time all your line, now there's supposed to be a Christian show, but we know it now only Christians watching, right? So if you out there in your line with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and every time all your line he drunk or she come home drunk or he drunk, then that could be a sign that the person could be addicted to alcohol. And or if you know fact that this person is an alcoholic, right? People who live with alcoholic spouses, it's torment. It's torment, especially when it's the fathers, which most of the times it's the fathers. I know they have women who are alcoholics, but I very rarely hear about it, right? So any kind of substance abuse, addiction, even if the addiction is pornography, it's not gonna go away. Not because he's married and now you all have the ability to be intimate every night if you so desire. It means that issue with porn is gonna stop. It doesn't work that way. Porn is actually an addiction. So any kind of addiction, to me, I would try to help you, but from the outside, not as your girlfriend. You need to fix that first. Those addictions.
Okay. What about, let me ask you a question, Ronika. What about if somebody is extremely over insecure on both parties? It could be either a man or a woman, like they're real insecure about everything. Like the girl will always checking your phone, she always questioning you, man. Who have you unlocked? That was say over insecure. I'm not talking about somebody who,
that is a lack of trust as well. That's more than insecure. If you checking my phone all the time, it means you don't trust me. I mean, I thought you meant the person have their own personal insecurities, like
No, I mean like over insecure. That's what I mean, like we're overpower in the relationship in that kind of way.
No. You don't want to marry somebody who checking your phone and don't trust you and calling you every 10 minutes to check up on you. Is here you went and asking people questions and always think it's something going on in the background. The person should be totally innocent, but if you have a problem with trust, that might be something you need to work out before you try to get in a serious relationship, because you will torment the other person. That kind of insecurity will be tormenting.
And like for the women, like maybe you with a boyfriend, not a husband, because a lot of people want to use these things for walking with a boyfriend, but he's very controlling in the context. You can't go here, you can't do this, you can't do that. That kind of way. If a boy like what do you think? What do you think about that?
No way. And if the person too, he telling you where to go, you can't lie with your friends. You had friends before,
right?
And he pull you. A woman do that to her. Pull you away from all the friends. There's not only men do that. Pull you away from your family and all, where they find you spending too much time. Imagine you come in my life, meet me with my mother and father house, and telling me I spend too much time with my family, or you know what I mean? So if the person kind of control, because that is a kind of control. And they always know who you're talking to on the phone, who you're talking to. If you can't talk to a man, or let's say vice versa, as a woman, you can't see your boyfriend talking to any other female, your mind gone racing, all those kind of things. Those are they might be just little outward signs of a much deeper issue that person is dealing with. And that person, I think, would need some kind of help and counseling. And I guess a deeper walk with Christ would help that, would help those things. And also if the person...
I just want to add that, like, in a situation like something, especially with fellas and even women, sometimes they don't even see that as a problem. They think that is just how they are in relationships, and sometimes even confronting and talking about it could be very hard. That's like a difficult conversation to have, you know what I mean? Or like if somebody don't really trust, and because they went through a past experience, sometimes people even see that their past is the reason why they act in a certain way. Because deep in their heart, they already made choices and they hide it up and they say, oh, watch me. I'm not going to let no man do me, or I'm not going to let no woman do me, and I had to make sure I have all my grounds covered. And they put on certain things and they bring that into the relationship. I guess all those things we're going to talk about a little bit, because it's just a reality that some people don't really see they bring baggage into the new relationship, and they just think, well, that's just how I view things, and it's very hard sometimes for a person like that to change. But you go ahead, Onika. You're saying how other things.
You make me lose my train of thoughts. I don't know.
We're gonna go to the comment section to hear what people are saying. But any other thing you all think before we go to them that you think where's a major one maybe we're leaving out? I know some people say cooking. Come now, man. You know, Onika couldn't cook really and truly when she went. You know, you had to find a man who really love you. Ben? Mm-hmm.
Somebody said in the comments, a man who never have any money. That could be a situation that the person is in now. That could be a seasonal issue. That don't necessarily have to demand, you know, his identity. You know,
I guess with Ling too.
Yeah,
because like if a man can have no money and he always gambling and drinking and smoking, and you know what I mean, that could be it depends on your wife for that one. But anything else?
I think somebody who's still very good with the ex and thing could and you coming into the picture, I think that could be awkward and could be a deal breaker for some people. Also, somebody who probably not in the country or long distance. Well, I don't know. For some people that is be kind of tough too. Or like somebody called to be a evangelist. What is called it? Like this, go out now outside the country and thing, but you want to stay in the country. Yeah.
Or missionary type thing.
Okay. Anything else you can think of, Marissa? Think about it and walk away with something practical, you know. That's you might say, well, I had to consider this and you might have to leave, you know.
A criminal.
If you don't have anything in school, you know, all right. So let's go to the comment section. I saw a lot of people put all kind of different reasonings. We want to hear Eva. You take it away, Eva, and let us know.
Right. So let me start by saying good night to a few people. Deborah Taylor, good night to you guys. Remember to share the stream, right? We're only in the first segment right now, so we still have a lot more show to come and all the good stuff, right? So remember to share the stream. If you like what you're seeing, remember to like as well and comment, of course, because commenting is the main way how you actually win prizes, all right? So Deborah Taylor, good night to you. She says, bless, good night, Pastor Onika and everyone. Risa Mark, good night to you. Daniel Sedano, good night to you.
Good night.
Wendy Rose Petal, Nicholas.
I think today's Wendy's birthday, so happy birthday, Wendy.
Happy birthday, Wendy. Big up to you, Wendy.
Wendy didn't have a birthday some time ago again?
Every year she have a birthday.
Every year. Michelle Singh says cheating and lies. Hey, that's true. Somebody who does be lying all the time, that's
that's a real good one. Is he lying? Wow.
Yeah, that's true. Esther Noel, good night to you. Let me see. Lakita says, I met a girl yesterday who is in a relationship. The guy cheated on her 3 times, twice before he proposed and once after. She still say yes to that proposal, right? And once after, she was asking me to tell her why she's still there. crazy.
So they've seen it real, right? That some people, you know, it's difficult for some people.
Lakita, I hope you share the stream to that person.
And the sin love covers a multitude of sins, so she has a lot of love.
Michelle, saying good night to you. Renal says unfaithfulness. Let me see. Esther Noel says physical abuse. AJ Allen says if she can't cook, I gone. Oh, good thing, AJ. Good thing I find my.
Well, they see
And Yala Mandela Stage. Good night to you. AJ says I'm not playing that. I learned to cook by the way. I'm glad you know how to cook, AJ, because if you don't find a wife who can cook, your dog's dead. Michelle, any kind of abuse, bye. Michael Spencer, sometimes friends have a part in your marriage to break up. Guys, we're talking about relationships here, right? Not necessarily marriage. Lakita also added, she's now in a state of drinking to try and get over him. He don't pay any bills. She does everything, pays everything, and on top of that, he tells her she's too fat. It's clear he's happy. Wow. That's a lot. She's yeah, Lakita, please share the stream to your friend. AJ Allen says, if she embarrasses me in public, goodbye. Eniala says, I would leave a passive man. Eniala,
I think some women like men who are strong leaders.
Eniala have some kind of reasons here. Anthony is a good man, boy. Michael Spencer, you should know the individual you with before you even think about getting married, because I don't think stuff would change. True. Let me see. Rose Petal Nicholas. Okay, this one is a long one, and I took a picture to grasp everything. Right. So Rose Petal Nicholas says it has some church people see a person's character toxic. How they will treat
How they were treated by the person.
Okay, thank you, love. How they were treated by the person and don't bother to date, neither have a friendship nor relationship. Another member haven't seen the same person character as yet, thinks in his or her head that's the one to be with. Okay, so someone who might kind of know the person from before. And sometimes their leaders kind of, not kind of, but they tend to see things in the spirit. So sometimes your leader might try to guide you. I think Mark mentioned that earlier on.
Yeah.
But you know, obviously, when you're in love could blind you from the obvious things sometimes, or maybe things not as obvious, and you don't want to get burned later down in the road, right? Risa Max says marital walk away and courting walk away should be dealt with differently. Separation in marriage is much needed, and walking away is sometimes warranted. However, courting, okay, so she's talking about courting here. There's addictions, porn, substance, gambling, etc., abuse, sexual infidelity, toxicity, etc., to walk away. So those are her reasons for walking away from a courtship. Any other say somebody you always have no money. Anisha John, I'm going for sure if he too controlling and insecure. True. Lakita added, we can't go nowhere because she have no money and I alone spending that man. I find these comments not even sounding like Lakita.
Right.
Lakita, you forget like the way she's typing, what about you alone play on dates? Lakita, let me see. Lisa Medford says no laziness. So she don't want no lazy man. That's so funny. What if the person family, this is Boyk, I believe, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, Latifa. What if the person family doesn't care about them and you as a boyfriend or girlfriend is trying to protect them, and by saying, what's this word?
I think it's a typo.
Yeah, by saying something less to do with them is it still controlling? And by saying,
I feel she telling the person to have less to do with their family.
To have less to do, okay, yes. To have less to do with their family. So that's kind of a question, Onika and others. So let me read that again. What if the person's family doesn't care about them and you as a boyfriend or girlfriend is trying to protect them, and by saying have less to do with them, is it still controlling? Let me see. I'll just read a couple more comments because I'm seeing quite a few here. recent man being unequally yoked spiritually and courting run unequally yoked can be financial, moral, ethical, etc., which can it be a difficult relationship to be in as well. Walk away if they're practicing witchcraft on you. Oh gosh, that is serious thing.
Yeah, sure.
Lakita. Yes, I didn't get his name actually. Ronaldo saying good night to you, a
Yeah, you
special
know
good
him.
night to you, really.
Yeah, he wasn't count.
Okay. Michelle, I go on. Don't call message, I'm disconnected from completely. I don't know what's her reason though. I didn't see any reason up above. Lakita, if it's for a sacrifice, if it's for a sacrifice for a period of time, the something that is his natural position, nah, man, I can't say. I really don't understand.
Have a good one.
Esther Noel. I know someone who said that God told him before he got married not to marry the person he chose to marry. And he didn't listen. He had 1 year of marital bliss and they are married for 22 years. He is a pastor. She is so disrespectful towards him. Oh gosh. Sorry. Colin Craft. Good night to you, Colin. Alright, I'm gonna read 2 more comments and I'll probably get the rest in later on, alright? Michael Spencer. Michael says, for me, I don't have no reason to cheat because I make sure I put my cards on the table. As the old heads say, I am into music and sports. Other than that, my time is with who I with. All right. Rose says it have some guys in the church believe too to control a woman. It have some ladies don't have a problem being manipulated. If a guy who is controlling can't control a lady, he will move to another lady who he can control. All right. Some serious comments here. Guys, thanks so much for your comments. Continue to comment. I will try my best to get the rest in later on. But for my first giveaway tonight, Magnet. Let us see. Michelle Singh. Congratulations to you, Michelle Singh.
Congrats.
I'm not sure if I ever saw your name here before. So congratulations. If you are new to Real Talk, if you're new to commenting, welcome. I'm really happy to have you here. All of us are. And guys, continue to comment, all right? So you can be a winner of one of our Amazon vouchers tonight. Kyle, we're going back to you. I'll take our plenty time here.
We're seeing people. Somebody put a good comment what do you think if they're very secretive? Somebody don't put that in the comment section. What do you think, Onika? They're secretive.
That would be, yeah. I guess that could hamper maybe trust a little bit. Maybe if the person not. I guess
especially what they're secretive about, then.
I know, but I see how if the person talking about somebody who might find it difficult to open up.
I think they say your phone and thing deleting that. What the person say deleting messages and all kind of different things like that.
Oh, that is not secretive. That is sneaky. That is sneaky. But secretive. No. That's an issue with trust. What's that, Mark?
She could be working for the FBI or Secret Services. You never know.
I guarantee you have better ways to communicate than that.
Yeah.
What was the question the person asked? Leonika answered one time, Eva, if you can remember, they asked something about controlling.
Yeah, it was basically if you're advising the person to kind of leave family alone, something along
if the family, they have issues with the family, and you advising the person to have less to do with their family.
Yeah, would you all still consider that controlling?
If somebody advising it to not do something, they're not controlling. That can never be controlling.
No.
I guess it kind of depends to the extent you kind of convincing the person to stay away. Because if you're making a recommendation, you're making a recommendation.
There's a comment there, so they want to look at it. No, it's right there.
What if the family doesn't care about them and you're boyfriend and girlfriend trying to protect them and by saying
have less
to do with them? Is it still controlling?
No,
if you're trying to, based on the words that this person used here, where you just care about the person, you're trying to advise them, maybe it might be best to stay away from your family. No, that's not controlling, that's good advice.
I think people have to be practical. As explain it to somebody that you have to be practical in a relationship. That as a man, I can tell you that maybe it has some women who are around me and maybe I might be able to see, but if I have a spouse who somebody next close to me and they could advise and say that I find that game moving a certain way or they seeing something, them telling me that I never feel, you understand where I'm coming from and vice versa. As a woman, there might be a man who moving a certain way and a man might say, watch me. That man, I know he for. I know where's he vibe, and if it is you really trust your partner, you're supposed to be able to. That's to be. I think a relationship. That's a healthy thing. If I have that, if I'm not
Yeah.
correct, and Mark once in a upon a time, Eva wasn't seeing something, and you was trying your best to try and tell her, "Whoa, I do think this is thing to happen," and you step away, and the person see what it is you're talking about after some time. Asking,
Yes, yeah, you can't control everybody and everything. Some things, you know, you have to leave it, let it run its course, and give people
yeah.
free will. But I would say to that young lady as well, another big reason for a man to leave his family behind his marriage, he have to leave his father and mother's house and be clean. Right? So even God suggests that at times.
Yeah. But you want to listen to something else? Yeah, because we're going to Miss Marissa right now. We want to hear her story. You want to listen to something else, Nika? I don't know.
No, no,
Okay,
no.
cool. All right, so Marissa, we have you on the show. And we want to hear your story about where you know what the situation was. Maybe you can give us a little background. Like how long you was with the person for?
Well, we were friends for like 4 years, and then we dating. We're together for about 8.
You know this person since you was a child or something? So long?
I mean, I heard that I look young, but I'm about 36. About 36.
About okay. So
So
basically you know them practically for like 12 years then.
yeah, we were really good friends. It was a mutual friend, so we were good, pretty good.
Okay, cool. And
And go
basically you
ahead.
say you had to reach a point where you had to walk away,
Yeah.
why is that? Why to you thought you had to walk away and let me hear you know?
Well, I was going through some stresses. Not in the relationship actually. The relationship was fine. It was weird. It's like we never argued about anything. We had mature, practical discussions about a lot of things, and we just used to be like, "Well, oh, thanks, Lakita." Um, so we would just have practical conversations about life. Like, okay, well, this is what we want to do about this, and this is how we feel about that. And generally, I was going through some trauma with another situation, and in that trauma, I reached out to God during that time, and in reaching out to God, it's almost as though the truth started to reveal itself about all areas of my life. And because of a trauma in another situation, my relationship with God started to grow. And all of a sudden, I started to realize that what I was in, I could have done better for myself.
Okay,
And that's how the journey started.
So
you when you
from
met this
mental,
person, you weren't a believer then. You were all you weren't a believers. No, so and then you got saved, and then alright, cool. But you want to say something, Monica? That's to clear up for a lot of people. They might wonder, alright, then now they get saved, and now you're in the relationship, you know. So you want to say something, Monica? I don't know if you're saying yes or I don't know.
it was fruitful. What I
Okay,
was
it
gonna say.
wasn't fruit. Oh, it wasn't fruitful. That's what she was gonna say.
A joke. Go ahead, Marissa.
Oh, yeah, you good. So why you started? You know, what was the steps you had to take now? Because I guess you say to yourself now where you feel well. You know.
Well, um, well, in the trauma, this person though was my everything. Is when I explained he was my everything because he could have counseled me even. He used to say practical things on this is how you could deal with this and this is how you could deal with that, and it was working, no lie. But I find like there was a cycle of problems in our situation, and I was like, but he's telling me some practical things. It must have another reason why all of these things are happening in my life. And one of my best friends, she's like, Marissa, just start going back to church now. I mean, just start back, please. And she started inviting me to church, Catholic, and I got heavy in Catholicism. Like I was going to church like 3 times for the week, 2 times for the week, if I could have. And in in one year,
Hmm.
I was like 2 times in church, and then in church I mean, I started to get even deeper in Christ, and then it's like something snapped. It's almost as though I started to feel like a shift happening in my understanding after reading the Bible, after worshiping, after talking to God. And one person actually from work reached out to me and she said, Marissa, you could actually there's you can actually feel like more of God in a different type of church, not religious, but you know. And then I joined the same ministry. And right before I joined the ministry, I spoke to God again and I said, Lord, how do I end this relationship? And I heard God say, stop being intimate with the person and see what will happen. And I felt like if God was tricking me into it, but I listened to it. So this person was very respectful. And I said, hey, I can't stand anymore. I'm getting a deeper relationship with God. And he's like, of course, of course, of course. Like, I've given you 3 months. I was like, what do you mean you're giving me 3 months? Is a lifestyle change? And he's like, no, well, I've given you 3 months. You'll let me know how it goes. So this person, I wasn't even talking to this person much during that 3 months and enjoying it. And he was like understanding. It's like, Marissa, you're good? I was like, yeah, every week after week. He's like, you're good? I was like, yeah. I just get deeper with Christ and it feels great. And like after 3 months, 6 months reach, and all of a sudden it was like, Marissa, I can't continue like this anymore. We need to break up. And in my heart, I was happy, but still feel rejected. And God actually helped me through that part of it too. So,
Marissa, question.
mhm.
So basically, when he said he couldn't go on like this anymore, he meant not being intimate. He couldn't go on like that
Without intimacy,
without intimacy. He could not
yeah,
go on anymore.
yeah, he could. So I thought it would have been. I thought I would have gotten pop the question, at that point, because we were in a relationship so long, and I knew the guy loved me. And I thought I got invited to a very high end location, but it wasn't for pop the question. It was for get out
breakup.
of. Yeah, it was a breakup.
That
Really.
wrong.
So it was rough. It was rough. And the Holy Spirit again, before that happened, kind of warned me and kind of gave me a heads up, like, Mercy, you're gonna be alone. You're gonna feel alone over the next 2 weeks, but just know I'm with you. And I held on to that word actually. I held on.
That was what? That was
Held
after
on.
that nice date, or that was before the nice date?
He
That's
set up
before
dates
the
after.
that's before the setup date. That's before the
Oh,
breakup
okay.
date. The breakup date, yeah. That's
I
before
guess,
the
I guess that kind of hit you hard because you thought, well, hey, well,
yeah.
you're going out, and then you
To
realize,
Yeah.
think
wait,
it's gonna be a proposal and end up being a breakup, that is
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah. I actually thought it was like it sunk me. Guys, it really sunk me. I needed a real lifting up at that point. June
okay.
2018.
Remember the months?
Wow.
Right. That really hurt you if you remember. That's a serious thing, boy. But yeah, so
Yeah.
that what went on after that? Because I guess, yeah, now that conversation happened, you're walking away. Did you ever try to contact the person again? You know what?
Of course, we kept talking because just knowing the person, um, sometimes in relationships people do drastic things to get a reaction. And so we kept talking, holding on to each other as friends.
Hmm.
And I
So
could
that
have
whole
easily,
breakup, that
yeah,
that's I'm minding your business.
because
That the breakup.
because yeah, we were done. But just remember something,
No,
I
no, I mean
said
like that's, and to know sometimes people break up and they say, well, we're breaking up, but we could just be friends. That was a conversation.
no, we didn't talk about being friends. We
Oh,
just
okay, okay.
we just knew that we are accustomed like having mature conversations about life and things that we will and will not do. So
Hmm.
it was one of those now. So the blow wouldn't be so hard when we having discussions. It never really had an argument about anything. We always just agreed or disagreed or beg to differ. And so when that happened, it was rough, and I took it serious. But apparently he wasn't serious. He wasn't serious, and he admitted that he wasn't necessarily serious with the breakup. You just did that so that I could have run back to him,
For
thinking that I would have.
reaction.
Yeah. So I
Please
was
don't leave me. Like,
I took it hard, but he was still talking to me like normal, hoping that I would have come back to him. So it wasn't a real breakup, actually, for him, but for me it was.
Okay, so it
so
was real.
after,
Mm-hmm.
so you
Get me?
pull away. Well, okay, obviously you didn't take the bait, right? You didn't take the bait, right? So
No,
did he just
because generally, I mean, if somebody's doing something and they're saying this, I mean, I take things very seriously. So I'm not one to play like a hodgepodge game, or I'm not that person. So if you're telling me this is what it is, so if you, yeah,
so did
yeah, I
he
could,
try after that or that was it?
but knowing the person, they tried in their best way they knew how, whatever tactics they were using. Obviously, not knowing me, even though they thought they know me, those tactics didn't work.
Okay. So
Yeah,
he wasn't that tactic. He wasn't army man.
he was
But
good. He was good. He was good, but it just didn't work. It just didn't
okay.
work. Yeah.
So now that right, you reach the point, you break up with the person. I wanna ask you a question, right? I know you're saying the Lord. Why do you think the Lord? Do you right here is moving on from relationship? But why do you think personally, Lord? Or do you think the Lord was trying to move you on from relationship at the point in time, or you just think, well, these things playing off and whatever the case may be? Asking.
Nah, I know God was moving away from me from the situation. It was going on for too long now, and I was questioning God for a long time. Like, Lord, is He the one? Am I the one? Is He the one I'm supposed to marry? Is He
But
the one I'm
why
supposed?
though? Why? Because to me, you saying the person was this ultimate perfect kind of guy. But why? So
Yeah,
why you think the Lord was trying to move on from the person? Then, like, why when you're in this situation, why you think you felt well, God, why it is I need to move on, or
I don't know. It's like truth started to sunk in. As I said, I was experiencing something outside of the relationship. It was work related. I was experiencing some strange circumstances and a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of different things would work. And this person would have counseled me about it. It's like he was my everything. Like I could have, at the end of the day, I could call him. We could spend like 4 hours on the phone, 3 hours on the phone, 2 hours, whatever it was. And he would be somebody who I could talk through it. He would guide me. I would feel successes, see successes, hear successes about what it is he guided me to do. But as I said, it was a cycle of craziness. And then I started to go to church. And then going to church is almost as though God deposited truth into my heart. So I started to realize, like, well, the relationship I am actually lacking, so that people will understand what I mean, love languages that I understand. So to me,
hmm
it was lacking something. It was lacking, like, even though that there was love, this person was like my best friend, but it was love. It was lacking a love that would have propelled me to say, well, this person is my husband for the future. So it was just missing something. It was missing real love. Like if it was like I wasn't feeling any presence of love, I just felt as though I was just with somebody who I'm talking to, and I could get this information from anybody else. So there was something lacking in the relationship. That's how I felt. And that's what made me started to talk to God about the relationship. And that's how God started to guide me out of the relationship.
Okay. That within that situation, what was one of the first things God tell you to like move on? Well, outside of how you're feeling, what was one of the first things that and how you dealt with it?
So the first thing I heard was stop being intimate with him and see what happens. The
Was that easy
second
for
thing,
you?
yeah,
Okay.
that part was easy. As I said, the year before, I was really like started going to church in a stronger way, and so I kind of like was talking to a lot of elders in the church, and I had a lot of friends who were leading me in the right direction. So I was actually paying close attention to how they were guiding me, and I realized that they were coming from a real, genuine place of love now, and they really wanted
hmm
the best for me. So I believed them, and I started to dig deeper into God. And during that time, it's like I went through so much, and I wanted to do something differently in my life. So if God said to stop being intimate, that was like nothing for me to do. I was like, hey, I just need to stop.
Okay. Have anything you want to ask her along the lines, Monica, before we continue on?
Well, I see people asking a lot of people asking the question of in that whole 8 years or well 12 years of friendship, and then if there was any marriage proposal at any time or even after the breakup, if there was ever a marriage proposal or talk of marriage at all.
I think at about 28, it came up, but I wasn't so serious about marriage then. It didn't bother me. But about 28, I started to feel like, hey, you know what? I think I'm supposed to be married by now. So then we had that conversation. And then he was like, nah, Marcel, like, we don't really need to get married right now. I mean, I'm still doing so and so with my career. And I was like, okay,
Right.
cool, yeah, that's fine. But at 32 is when I had the breakdown. 32, I was like, but wait a minute. I'm 32. Like, what really going on here? And by the next year,
Is
when
it
I
this
turned,
person didn't believe in marriage or something?
it sounds as though he was like back and forth dwindling. It's like he was like here and there, and then like all of a sudden, he said no outright. Outright no. When I was 32, he said that he wanted time. So
Whoa,
in
Time?
42, taking it to 42.
Is he Doctor Strange? Then you're going. Yeah.
yeah,
What do you wanted time for? Time to what?
he had made a career change. So he wanted time in his new career.
So what had to do with getting married?
I said the same thing, hence the reason I grew deeper with God that year that he said that.
Oh, very
So yeah, so that's what happened.
Because I get the impression that he is a type of intellectual person. He have a lot of brain power and explain stuff, use very
Cognitive
yeah,
understanding was conceptual and cognitive understanding was
yeah. Like when he explained to you why he doing what you're doing, you're almost at loss as to trying to figure out what's going on here.
because it wasn't about all of those things. It was supposed to be about love, but you have a full explanation on why you shouldn't do something. And my only reason was love. So that is when I said that I realized that, like the presence of love was like how I understood love to be wasn't what was exhibited. So that's why I had some questions running.
Yeah.
And that's when heavily I started to, the truth started to sink in from God
It
about
wasn't
how
like
God
if
love is now.
it wasn't like if a change of career meant he wasn't in a position to financially or anything. It was just he wanted to focus on this change. It wasn't, or was it that there was a constraint somehow financially?
There was a no, I can't say it was a financial constraint. However, that he did want to build up his finances so that he could have
Right.
provided. Yeah. So I think it was his financial goals, more or less. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a man point of view. I do think personally so, but I don't know. But that's just my input. I mean, if a man really, think at 28, 30, you're with 8 years, right? A man by that time, especially when the breakup come, you would make that decision, and Mark?
Yeah.
I think slipping away, you would say, no, I with his girl. I think it had, on his end, maybe other issues that maybe he wasn't comfortable with or something.
I mean, he would have seen me. He would have seen me as a loyal person also. It didn't matter what he did. I would have been there. So for him he probably didn't understand how serious I was. I mean, remember I said there was no arguing. So how else would I have stated how serious I was? So he probably was testing me while I was testing him. If you understand what I'm saying. Because I wouldn't raise my voice if it is that I'm serious about something. I just say it. I just say, hey, I'm serious, huh? And he could probably think I was bluffing or being sarcastic or something. So he didn't take me seriously. And then even 3 years later, I think someone asked if there was a proposal after. There was apparently there was one, but I didn't realize. Because
didn't realize it was a proposal.
I didn't realize. Because how do I explain this? So last year, 2020, right? So we spoke again, this ex of mine and I spoke again, and he said, Marissa, don't you realize that I want to marry you? So for me, love languages again. For me, that's
This
not
is
a
last year you're
proposal.
talking, huh?
This is last year.
Okay.
So after years of the relationship ending.
But how long
Um,
that break up there? How long that timing frame was?
about 2 years, Eva's confused about something.
So y'all were
It's
always in contact with each other because that's 2018 to 2020, and he just come up and did you realize I want to marry you? Like, where I come from?
Well, what happened last year? I did say that, like we're really not together, so we really need to not communicate so often. I mean, you have no reason to be calling me so often. And he actually said that I said, well, okay, remember the last time when you respected my my space and time? I was like, well, it's one of those now where I really need some time alone, like alone. Like, let's not talk at all. And that's what happened. And then it triggered the like some months later, it triggered like I think we need to organize ourselves to be together again. And apparently that was a proposal. So because that's what he said. He said it's like, don't you realize I want to marry you? And that was the proposal. I think somebody had asked. Somebody asked the question if there was a proposal. So that was the proposal. So this is what I'm talking about. The presence of love was different. The love languages are different. Highly intellectual person, as Mark said. So this is how this person relayed what he wanted to say, which is not on my, for my
Yeah, that's not
understanding.
how you propose to somebody.
No,
But
And honestly,
it's
I
a
don't think
business
that's
deal.
not
It's kind of
necessary.
like a business deal. You make
Yeah,
it.
and honestly, that's not necessarily a love language. That's just maybe the person just don't know. Be brought up a certain way and he don't know. I don't know. I
yeah,
really don't know the answer to that, right?
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I'll put nothing on the man position. But I can
Mm-hmm.
guarantee if a man trying to fight back, hey, Mark is a man who fight back anyway. He go figure it out.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
understand? Especially with somebody for 8 years, they go
but
figure
then
out a way to,
I mean,
to do your move. Especially if
I
you
mean,
really want to be with this person.
I say in this so casually, yeah, but guys, I was deeply hurt by all of this last year. I was
Hmm.
deeply devastated, hurt. Like, how could
About,
somebody
about
speak
what
to
though?
me? How could somebody speak to me like that about something so serious? How could they just be so like lack so much? I forget the word, sincerity or love, or how they could speak to me
I
like
would
that
I
about
understand
something
what
so
you mean.
serious.
Okay.
I would have think
It's
about it a
like,
little different though. I would have been like, what you take me for? That you feel you could come back and ask me to marry you in that kind of way. Like will you really feel I just sit down waited for you 2 years later? I would have been like, you don't have no respect for me. That's how I would have felt. I would even try to figure
no,
you out, you know? I would
no,
have been like,
no. I mean, Onika, the heart was still pulling in that direction. I won't lie. The heart was still pulling in that direction. So
wow.
he could have actually won over my heart if it is he lied, or if it, but he was never a liar. He wouldn't lie or say things that he doesn't mean. So what he was being his authentic self, and his authentic self was what he was presenting back to me, and
Okay.
this is who he is. So
Okay.
I I had to make a decision at that point. Like, I had to cut off the heart and say, hey, I'm not going back there, no. I'm not going back there again, because of the it's because of his communication style. It was lacking like love,
I get
like
you. That's
presence of
just his
love,
personality.
cool.
Something I witness as well. Sometimes with men, they will be in a relationship for very long, and it's almost like they know to themselves. No, I'm not saying that's the case with the person I'm also in a relationship with, but they know to themselves that this is a good girl. This person is faithful, and this person has a sense of stability in my life. But yet they know that they're not really gonna go as far as marriage, especially if intimacy is involved. I think sometimes a man, well, I've personally seen where they will kind of stay in a relationship as a sense of stability, but to go to the next level, sometimes this be a challenge. So I think a good standard in a relationship is really waiting on the intimacy for marriage. It kind of bring forth a man's true. You get to see for real, like if the person willing to sacrifice even their own desires, and have that self control. just something I think.
Yeah. I mean, even at that point too, guys, God had to talk to me about that at that point too, because even I said the heart pulled for him still, it was like God actually spoke and said, Mercer, he doesn't love me, so he won't know real love. So whatever you experienced in the past, it's gonna just be a cycle of it. Unless he knows who I am, he wouldn't be able to love you like that. And that killed it. That killed it for me. It was like it was no turning back. So my heart didn't pull again after that. After God spoke to me like that, nothing could have wavered it. Nothing.
Okay. So now I guess that's technically last year that this whole thing happened of I guess this whole situation, right? So
Business proposal.
so I want to ask you a question that maybe seem random. So you believe God? So if you say everything he person not proposed, you would have still say yes?
It might have been harder for her to say no. If it was a proper proposal, I think that's what she meant. Well, she could say
Okay,
what she
okay.
Sorry.
I asked you
There's
not yes. So,
someone. I think if the person proposed in the right way, like really tricked me, like well not trick, but if they showed genuine and sincere love, like if love like I would understand like what God would want me to actually experience, I think I could have said yes in that moment and then realize say no after. But at that moment I could have gotten caught,
okay.
it was me realizing that it was me listening to the ministers in the church because I'd got a warning some weeks before where I heard that the enemy wants to pull you back into old things. And I kept that in my heart and I remembered. So when it popped up, I was like, no. So it didn't matter what he said. I said no. But if it would have been harder, as Onika said, it would have been harder if it is that he actually played his cards right. If the enemy had really come like really good, it would have been it could have been a struggle. I would have
Thank God,
it would have it would have
thank God he did it how he did it.
Thank God how he did it. How he did
yeah. So,
Okay, so for some people listening, right, I want to ask you three things practically. I mean, I know you're saying Holy Spirit help you, right? But I want to know three things practically you had to do to move past this relationship because I'll be honest with you. You say you all broke up in 2018, and you still maybe is considering to marry him last year. So it's three things that you say, hey, watch me, I had to really deal with because it's clear to some degree you still had considered the person a little bit, because I wouldn't necessarily say you move on totally. I just been honest from since then to then, you know what I mean? So I want to ask you, what is three things practically I have to do? Because I mean, you went through this thing emotionally for long. You know, while you was going through this emotionally, is dealing with this, right? So it's three things you had to do practically to move past.
um, practically, I kind of buried myself in church in Christ. Like I was really trying to be open to God's word and the services that were being provided. Sundays, just it's a practical thing. Just being in the presence of people, who are believers, and they were leading me in the right direction. There were elders in the church that were praying for me, being honest, talking to people that you have a problem. Because I think I would have walked up to Onika a couple times and said, Onika, I need some prayer. And being present in church is important because there were several times the pastor had to be like, Onika, check her in the back there. She needs some prayer. And I remember Onika praying over me. And while she's speaking, it's things that I was actually experiencing. So being present, being available, realizing how important service with God is. That's exactly what happened, guys. That was real practical. It was the year before. It took me a year to get there. It was like actually 6 months because between my birthday and then joining champion, it was like 6 months. So in 6 months I was saying no to sin after just burying myself in God. So that was the practical example. Secondly is believing God's promises. So God said to me, stop being intimate with him and see what will happen. I saw what happened. I was rejected. So that first rejection was like, so wait now, I'm not good enough for marriage? Okay. So I turned like hardcore. I turned kind of bitter. I turned bitter. I turned like,
Still hardcore, yes?
yeah, I turned hardcore. Like, like I was, okay, so I'm not good enough to be married to for somebody to settle down with. I was like, so it's almost like pride. It was like pride being shattered. But I mean, I don't think that part of it is practical because it depends on who the person is. But I think wanting great things for myself, wanting good things for myself, wanting a better life, a better relationship. I don't think God desired me to be in an up and down relationship where I was lacking love and understanding. And I don't think God wanted me to experience it. I don't think God wanted me to be in sin either. So for me, it was just believe in God's promises in my life. I just wanted to believe what God had to say about relationship. And I was doing a lot of reading about that too. I take a deep dive into that devotional scripture. I kept burying myself in those things. So it's like practical examples of what you want. And I saw my friends being married too and having wonderful relationships with it, Christian. So it's what you want for yourself too. It depends on what you want for yourself. And I didn't want that. I didn't want our life anymore. So that was so another practical example, Kyle, is wanting the best thing for yourself in that situation. No,
Okay.
Yeah. So that's another practical thing. And according to my dad, my real dad on earth, he actually said it's to keep it off. It's to keep the bad habit off now. He always says that to me. He said, Marissa, it's one thing to reach a level and but it's a next level to keep a bad habit off. And Kerwin always speaks about the old man, just realizing that the old man is not that flow, is not a direction that you want to go back into. So having said that, the third practical thing is keeping it off. And God had to do a lot of ministering to me about that. And again, it's staying in church and listening to the elders. These people are speaking to you out of love. Some people might want to take offense to it. Some people might want to say they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what I'm going through. But I didn't take it from that place because it could end up down a hurt road. And I didn't want to be hurt again. I was going after peace. So again, it's what you want for your life. I wanted peace in my life. I wanted real love in my life. I didn't want to experience any kind of trauma anymore. So that's what happened.
Do you think one of them that could help you? I mean, I don't know if you're still doing it today, but do you think communication could be one of them that you think somebody should really try and cut off in that situation?
Yeah.
Do you think if you had cut off communication a lot more, it would have helped you even to the point, even right now? Well, 6 months ago or whatever that was? Like, if Wally wasn't talking so much and interacting so much, I think when maybe he did call, it would have been easier to be like, so yeah, you calling me and talking to me all this out. You know what I mean? Because they're not really talking so much. So when you call and then say, well, I wanted to be married, you're like, whoa, you know what I mean? So what do you think? Do you think communication is one of them?
Yes. And being nice during that time didn't help. Trying to not hurt somebody's feelings, something that was my main concern. But what happened? Yeah, and that person was going through some stuff too, and I cared about the person still. So what happened was I had to trust that God will take care of the person. I literally had to do that. I said, Lord, I'm entrusting you this person. I have to stop talking to them, but I'm entrusting them to you. But you are right, Kyle. Being practical, you had to be very strong to cut this person off, and you had to distract yourself with other friends. So I did distract myself with other friends, not other relationships, guys. I want to be clear. I didn't go into any other relationships, but I did talk to a lot of people in faith. So buried myself with friends. Yeah, I didn't have to block him. He actually was kind of obedient. He kind of kept off when I said I didn't want to talk to him, but cutting him off earlier would have speed up the process. I wish I'd done that sooner too, actually.
It would have speed up the process.
Yeah, it's whatever. I mean, I remember in my relationship when I got saved and I had to move on from that. I think that's one of the things that helped me a lot, cutting off from the person like communicating and different things like that. I remember it wasn't easy. It wasn't I remember when I got saved, one of the first things I ever did was I went up to the person and I told them I apologize for everything ever wrong happened in this relationship because there was a cheating whole madness happened. I tell them everything, and I sincerely I mean it from my heart. I was just worried. Everything I realized I had a part to play in it, and whether he was right or wrong or I was right, I didn't care. I really was. And it helped me move on because what it helped me do is I really didn't want nothing in my heart to deal with it anymore. I really didn't want to go back. And what I mean by me that I mean personally, because I'll be real with you, maybe what a lot of people would experience is when it is a cut off communication, there's an unknown. There's an unknown of I wonder if this person thinking about you go through real feelings, you go through this where you're wondering how this person thinking, how they dealing with like I say they're going through problems, you wonder like how they coping in this situation, they could be wondering all these things. And what it helped me to do is to help me move on and say, Brett, they have their own life to live now, and I have my own life. I mean, I did it sincerely from my heart because it's not just for the other person, but it's also for me to get rid of any kind of toxic emotions, any kind of feelings I had inside of me, and I just move on from the situation. And I remember some time had passed, and I went up, and I was more serious. I wouldn't say serious, but I was more grounded in the Lord then. And that's like about 3-4 weeks, right? Sorry, about 3 months, and I just felt very worried. And I went and I bought. There was their birthday, so I can remember it was like around July and around September, November, right? And I went and I carried a Bible for the person because I was just hey, watch me, and I carried a Bible and I say hey, happy birthday, whatever. They thought I was coming for a different reason, which was to maybe hook back up. And when that happened, I realized, whoa, I don't want to ever have any communication or be done because they're on two different pages with me. You catch where I'm coming from now. I'm not on any kind of thing like that. So I was never even friends with the person after that whole scenario happened. And I be honest, it's not obviously, I don't think that person could ever say that I hated them in any kind of way. You understand where I'm coming from? I never shared any kind of emotion to say what me, I hate you and I think that the reason why I'm sharing all of that, right, is to let people know you have to be practical with yourself and you have to be able to know what you could this the valley you're walking through. You have to know that the Holy Spirit with you and also the practical things you have to speak into your heart because a lot of people would sort of feel they would hear thoughts where you feel where you don't like me no more and that is why I break up. We're not together again. I'm moving on. So it's just a practical thing. Some people had to speak into their heart at a moment in their life because I'll be honest, it's be hard for a lot of times to move past a relationship that you're really been in love and you really think this person because at the point in time you just feel like, am I really making the right decision here, boy? Am I really going to move past the situation? Because dealing with those things is not easy, and sometimes a lot of people really need to address the real problems in their heart. Because like the big question I asked before, I remember sometimes people feel they would never fall in love or they would never be in a better relationship, I should say. And I'll be honest, that is you'll meet somebody else, and for Marissa, you'll meet somebody else, and Lord bless you, and you know what I mean. And I just life, you know what I mean. Your measurement now, you find the ultimate man his name is Jesus. That is really the ultimate man you find, you know what I mean. And anything else gonna be short. Anybody else gonna be short of him. That just. But Unika, we think for you went through a whole process of the same thing. What's maybe one thing that you say practically that somebody should, like how I say, maybe being real and addressing the emotions and being a little practical. I know that's hard. I mean, maybe because I'm a guy. I know sometimes as a guy, maybe I just think, I deal with situation, I go on. I'm not gonna be, that kind of way. I make my decision, and sometimes emotionally it's not easier, in that kind of way, right? But asking you as a woman, what would you say was hard to maybe overcoming that scenario, maybe dealing with in that time?
I was with my first boyfriend for probably 3.5 years. I don't know if we made 4 years or maybe 4.
Mm-hmm.
3.5 years, right? And in that 3.5 years, you get close to the person, you get accustomed hearing their voice every day, you get accustomed spending time with them. You form emotional bonds and ties with the person. In some cases, physical, people who get physical. So you form all these emotional ties and stuff.
Mhm.
And it's not always that easy when you break up, even though you might know it's the right thing, right? I mean, and it took me a little while to figure out this is what God wants. This is the right thing. Even after knowing that, the feelings don't automatically go away, and that's just a fact. There's not a
Yeah.
miraculous when you say okay, we're done, and even though you know it's a good thing, even though you know splitting up is the best thing for you, you might be convinced of that. God convince you, other people convince you, the relationship convince you, and all because you realize it was going bad. It doesn't take away the fact that when the time comes that you're normally liming, you will feel sadness in your heart. You'll feel like a separation. You
Mhm.
actually feel the urge to call the person because this is the time you're accustomed talking. So you actually literally, so it's like missing somebody, and
Yeah.
it's a natural part of love if you love somebody, if your mother go away or your sister or anybody. So if you're in love with somebody and all of a sudden that person is no longer part of your life, you miss the person's presence, you miss their voice, and so those things are things that you really do experience. And so that's why when you tell people you have to be sensitive. When you tell people, yeah, what happened to you? Why you can't just walk away? Just walk away. Yes, we
Yeah.
could just walk away, but that doesn't help me when I alone in the night and I know I am accustomed. Well, long time we didn't have no cell phone. It was home phone, right? Or he would line by me till all hours and stuff. And, that doesn't help me when I in my bed alone and I have nobody again. You telling me what I should do and it don't help me in that moment. You understand what I mean? So
Yeah.
a practical thing that I had to do, and well, maybe people might say it's not practical. Marissa mentioned one. Um, I started because something that happens to when it shouldn't, but it happens especially in younger people, younger couples. You kind of pull yourself away from your friends when you get really entangled with someone. Not that you stop talking to them, but because you want to be with this person so much, I want to spend as much time with this person. I want to be up in the face, right? So you kind of isolate your friends a little bit, and so that when he gone now, your friends, your friends gone too. They don't realize, but she not on us again. She have a boyfriend and she not on us. So one of the practical things I had to do was kind of basically put your tail between your legs and go back to your friends and say, can we be friends again? Just just being not that we stopped being friends, but what I meant is we certainly didn't have that same connection, right? So
Mhm.
um and yeah, but you have to be careful the kind of friends you go to because you could hook up with some friends that could actually lead you down a worse road in a breakup, right? Try to
Yeah.
help you to get over it in bad ways. But I'm talking about people who gonna give you good advice, people who are gonna be there for you, speak good things into your life, encourage you, and people who are gonna give you sound godly advice, would encourage you. So that was one thing I did. Instead of staying in my room and being lonely and crying and just praying every day, God, make it work, which I did for a period. I
Yeah.
remember praying, saying, God, bring him back. I'll be a good girl this time. I will be more serious with you. I've been real. All I'm kind of
Mhm.
pray, Lord, if it's something I did, Lord, I will change. I will. So instead of wasting my time, right, in that kind of state, you get yourself occupied. Also in ministry, if you belong to ministry, Marissa did a very brilliant thing by staying in church, finding herself in the presence of God more, among ministers, among people who could edify her, who could pray for her, who could help her. I also did that. I mean, I was always around church people, and I also did that.
I sorry,
Well,
Marissa. But go ahead.
sorry about what? Wait, what?
I just telling you sorry, but go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, I got you. I know why you're
Okay,
sorry.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, good. Go ahead. See?
Yeah.
We're on a
Anyway,
page. Yeah.
anyway. So yeah. So a practical thing was to kind of reconnect with my good friends, not the ones that, to reconnect with people who could actually speak into my life and encourage me. That was one thing. So I
Mhm.
don't feel the loneliness as much because sometimes you feel you have to go through it alone, but you really don't. that there can be people around you that can actually help you and encourage you and take your mind off of it. It's a practical thing in life that if I sit in a room by myself and I play slow music, Kyle, while I go into a tabanka, it goes stretch out.
Right.
I would sit down and cry every night. I would stretch out the tabanka, right? But if I say, you know what, I'm not staying in this room. I'm not going to cry one more night. And I call a friend and say, hey, let me go to a concert, let me go to church, or something now. So yeah, a practical thing to do is to get out of that sorrowful tabanka kind of mode and get yourself not busy getting in trouble, going by a bar and drinking and going and saying, well, yeah, let me drink, yeah, let me drink something to get over here. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about doing something productive with yourself, with your life, even if you take up a hobby, Kyle, like something that you wanted to learn, but to distract your mind. Because trust me, if you sit down in a room by yourself, Satan is going to bombard your thoughts with memories, and worse yet, if you create an environment by the music you're playing, he's going to just come and bombard your thoughts, and all you're going to want to do is call that person. It's going to just make you call the person. So a practical thing for me was to get distracted. It's not, it's not, to me that was, I realized maybe a week into the crying on the pillow bedroom praying thing, I said, nah, it's this crap, I'm not going through this. I didn't say I got over him in a week, but I got over the real crying and, begging God like a fool, and then I got up and said, nah. So to get over tabanka, you have to make practical steps. And one of them is, occupying your mind.
I guess you have to be realistic and have phases. So like when you break up, like I say, or cry. I know just to go in a room and cry. Mark, I know to go and, I do it, like, you know what I mean? I remember the first relationship I break up with was like the person just left. Stop communicating and different things like that. And I was left in a hole where I didn't even know what's going on. Sorry? Yeah, I didn't even know what was the ghost man, but it was for some reasons that I found out later, and obviously the person trying to come back and things like that, right? But I remember that point in time, that was actually my first breakup ever, like, first thing, and I believe that helped me with the second one. And I think two things happened with the second one. I know, like you say, like for me, the first one, that's when I went by the bar and drinking with partners, and we hashing it over, and we talking about why that thing happened, and you're hashing it out, you're trying to reason, and you're that way, you're venting, in other words, right? The second time, I vent, but I wasn't looking for help. I'll be honest with you, right? I really wasn't looking for help from people. The reason being is I'd honestly make up my mind, like information. I want to help from people at all, more like somebody trying to tell me what the things to do. And the second time I'd already make up my mind. And I was really getting help from the Lord, because I could be realistic, and I know which one back then and how I dealt with the other one, and I knew this time the Lord was really helping me, and I was really moving on, and I actually didn't want to be in the relationship no more. So the problem was to get this thing out of my heart and to start to write something new, because like I say, I'm accustomed talking to the person, you're going out for the person. I mean, this person used to live fast, right? So it used to be my whole life in that kind of way, right? So I remember at that point in time, I had to make real practical decisions to make that step in my heart and to move on. And I went through the crying phase. I went through the phases of, I'm feeling alone here at the moment in time. Nobody, because at that point in time, nobody else feel like nobody else understands. As much as other people saying, well, hey, I know it is to go through this, it doesn't matter. Because nobody else living in your soul to know, well, when it is you're feeling a certain way, and you don't know how emotionally that some people might know when they see something familiar, it means something more. You know what I mean? Like, they see something, they remember, you watch a movie and they remember, oh, they went and watched, that different things.
You smell like cologne.
You smell like cologne, you smell something. It's have things that you just remember in the moments. Yeah.
I was watching Miss Ned face now.
remember, she never went through this. So she's like, whoa.
To me, it's just like, wow, seriously. I mean, I understand that, but it's just like.
Well, Eva tell me she never experienced the banker. So, that's a good thing.
Amen. That's a good thing.
That's good.
Human beings not designed to go through the banker.
True.
God never wanted us to first to go through that. But I think people must be aware of this, because the reason being, is that when you're in this situation, yes, be real, like Onika say, is really be tempted to communicate. Is really be tempted. I think one of the biggest things to be tempted to do, depending on the situation, is for answers. And I don't think you should really at times search for answers. It'll be harder, especially if somebody cheat on you or somebody just break up with you for no reason. It is be hard many times to get answers from the person because trust me, nothing gonna change. You know what I mean? Even what they tell you ain't gonna make it, especially if they come out and say, well, use the problem.
It's true.
Or worse, that you find out they find somebody better than you.
Yeah.
Them things not gonna help you in no scenario.
Better,
You know what I mean?
better for me is better. You mean another person? I mean, just another person.
Yeah, that was better. Yeah, I just saying.
Because they want the person better.
No, I'm saying if the person wants to tell you that, like if the person wants to say, well, I find somebody who I just more attracted to, or they do things for me that you don't do, and when you hear them kind of thing, it ain't gonna help you, you know. So sometimes you have to realize the answers it's not really where you really want, you know what I mean? And that ain't gonna help you at all because I've been there. I noticed I have questions and there's no resolve, and I had to live with that. I had to say, whoa, I good. I didn't want to go down the question and answer survey because I was once there, and some of the things I find out, I don't want to. I didn't want to know.
I know that is good.
Yeah, you know what I was doing. So I say, watch me the second time. I want to question and answer survey. Are you do your thing? I good. You go ahead with your funny story.
So, however, my son that my ex-father was trying to sort of hint to me all along that there was somebody else there, right? But it's not that I was taking the hint, but I was just like, yeah, he don't know, he just be friendly to the person or whatever, right? And one day, this was after we broke up, very, very early after we broke up, maybe a week or two, right? It wasn't a month, right? He used to work in a bank, and I as a teller, and so I was in line. I was in the line in the bank to go and. When you're trying, right? I'm going in the bank and trying to find transactions just to see the person and, do the transaction with them by the counter, right? So I am in the line. It was a long line, and he saw me in the line, so he gave me the acknowledgement, like you see here, and he's smiling. Because even though we had break up, it wasn't like not talking to each other and vexed and thing. It wasn't like that. Just knowing together, right? So he smiled, and obviously he know I will let the person behind me go if he not available because I waiting for him, right? But while I'm in the line, I am noticing that he's smiling, right? But it's not at me. And I'm noticing because I'm watching him and I'm noticing the line winding. I'm thinking to myself, okay, it's not me, but I could tell like he's blushing and laughing with somebody else in the line. I'm being serious, right? So I'm in the line now and I'm trying not to like obviously turn around or to look around too much, right? So what I did after I did my transaction and he talked to me real good, we laugh, I feel a little connection, do the transaction and stuff. When I came out of the bank like a little psycho, I didn't actually come out. I stuck around in the bank to see if there was really somebody else in the line that he was flirting with, because that's how it was looking, like he was laughing and showing eyes. And there was. And then when she went to the counter, there was laughing and giggling and stuff. And I went and described the girl to his father. And he said, yes, that is the girl. Right? So it just so happened that both of us, so that was for me, right? That was the point for me when I was like, because he never told me he had anybody else involved in us breaking up. He didn't say it was because of anybody, whatever. I described the girl and his father said, yes, that's the person to T. And then after that, I confront him about her. And he said, well, they're just getting to know each other. They're not in a relationship. Just find she's a nice girl and whatever. So,
they was together then?
No, we broke up.
Oh, okay.
But he never mentioned somebody else. I just happened to find his behavior was strange in the bank now. And I'm like, it's not me and laughing and smiling with who he, So I went on in the corner and hide to see who it is we laughing with. And that's when I realized that this man, he was with somebody else. That's how I found
Wow.
How long after?
Amen.
How long after?
About 2 weeks. About 2 weeks. After.
So you went undercover again?
Yes, I went in the corner to wait and see.
You had to do your thing, Eva. You had to do your thing.
Just so. I want to see.
Chanel said being a stalker is a blessing sometimes.
I just don't like how you read all this. You stand up in the line, you see the line turning. He watches
women are very, very intuitive. Women are very, especially with somebody you know. And I saw his movements, his body language, his eyes, and I'm like, there's somebody in this line, this man's with me. So I stick around.
You fight to find a transaction just to win, just to go there and nice way.
Yeah, I just said, I'm going to deposit $20.
Oh gosh.
And
maybe the girl was doing the same thing.
You know, she was even $20 too.
Wow.
She was doing the same thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you do your thing, Gil. I do your thing. One say, you know. One say, you know. I do my thing already too, you know. So I understand what you're saying. You know, I know it is a. I think for me, was real big and different, Eva, in my situation, is that before, I think personally, I was starting to hear from God in my last relationship. I wasn't born again then, right? I didn't give my life in that kind of way, right? But I remember I started to get thoughts. Like one of the thoughts I just get out of the blue is it's at My Line then. Only people who know about My Line, big up yourself, right? And they had 5 people in your My Line. So I just started to have random conversations with the person. I just say, who on your My Line, boy? I just ask a question and the person answer, causing me to other people, and they couldn't answer who's the next person. They wasn't, because it was just a random question out of the blue. So maybe they couldn't lie properly or something. And when that happened, something click inside of me, Brez, and I catch on. And I say, oh, and that is when I started to discover something fishy was going on. And I started to ask questions upon questions, and I realized, whoa, this was happening. And I remember how I spot the man. I didn't see him at the point in time, but how I catch the person, or the scenario, how it come to pass, the person tell me they're going out. Now, the person was going out with a lot of people from work, but the guy was going to be there. So I remember I said, all right, I called my partners, and then one of them have a black tin Civic. So, all right, I know they was going by their cousin to stay the night. So I said, all right, cool. I'll go up the road and I'll wait in the car for them when they come home. So I just sit down in the car with all my partners and I'm waiting to see who's this person. Because I wanted clarity to, move on. I just wanted to know, hey, this is where it is going on, and I go on, right? The cousin come outside and beg me to go home because she thought this fight going to happen in the middle of the night, right? She thought, well, watch my come here to beat up people and all kind of madness and thing, right? And I remember and I just went home and that conversation happened, and everything that I felt was happening was real. And I think at that point in time, I realized when it is I was moving on, one of the things I'll be honest, I cherish a lot in my life is the Holy Spirit advice and his help in my life. And I think that's something I realized. So like for Marissa, the Lord is trying to tell us something to move on. And I think he's telling you, sometimes it's hard for you a lot of times for you to recognize why. But I'll be honest, I cherish those kind of conversations because I saw results. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from, right? I saw somebody who was helping me and he revealed things to me that I would not known other than that. And I think moving on, one of the things I get closer to the Lord, I show Marissa right now on fire for God. You just get closer to the Lord because you're spending more time with him, you're talking to him, you're overcoming, and he's really put things inside of you to really help you overcome the season and also to help you move past beyond that. One of the things I told somebody, my fiance, I don't know if she thinks it's something. I don't believe in, like when you say this breakup thing, I don't believe in them kind of thing, right? I believe if it is you have that conversation with me, that you say, I ready to go break up, I think I done. I just be honest with you, I done. I'm not going to go back. Because I reached that place in my life where I be honest with you, right? If there's a woman listening out there, or a man listening out there, I think that personally, that's the thing, people that walk with the Lord, I know their own journey and their own path, right? But for me personally, for you to have the courage, Mark, to have that conversation with me, we done and we break up and this. I say you really investigate and you think about this thing. Because where I'm coming from, right? For me to come to a conclusion where you say the result for us here is a breakup. I say, well, cool, that you know what you're thinking about. I'm not gonna go through the banker again in that kind of way where and that's where I'm from, right? I don't make up my mind if it is you say you want breakup.
I'm dead serious.
I'm dead serious.
Well,
If
you
it is
could not
somebody,
to Banker. So if Nikki
huh?
come tonight and say, Kyle,
No,
I thought you two have done, you're not gonna go through Tabanka.
no, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, right? The events of everything, I'm not going back down that road ever again. Any context. If somebody come and tell me this is the decision they want, I respect any decision. It means I'm not gonna try back to get any relationship by being
Oh,
honest
okay,
with you.
okay.
I would go
Right.
through my heartbreak. I'm not gonna try and figure out nothing and try to.
Okay,
No,
okay.
you as a wise person at
Okay.
30 something years now, you sit down and you analyze and you say this is the best decision for my life. I respect your decision, brother. You catch where I'm coming from, right? I know when I sit down and well, sister, and I know when I sit down and dwell and say, "Oh, I wonder why," and I might not question, but I guarantee you can't give me the answers.
Yeah.
You understand where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah.
So when
And I
tell me
think,
he was done already and I ignore him, I say I went walk out, he said me we was he told me something in confidence and I
uh-huh,
told my parents, right?
Wow.
Like I just have some mommy skills, right? I tell my mother everything, like I swear, like
right.
everything. And I first I didn't think I did something wrong. I tell him I tell my mother, right? Because I know you were because I looking at it. To me, my mother is like, anyway. And he was so upset about that. And he's like, well, I can't believe it. And like I can't trust you ever. And I don't know if I can keep this relationship, and I don't know ever. And when he walked off, I just sat down there and I shoot and I was like, whatever, yes, you dread. I didn't even take anyone. So the next day I just went like normal. Like I didn't talk. I didn't even talk about the
Well,
conversation.
I really go through the breakup then.
I know. I said he said. I didn't say that. You just say somebody come and tell you that. You will just do argue.
No,
I said,
if it is we
I
have
just
a
ignored you.
conversation and the person bring up that and that what I'm saying is the person just say something and catch comment and there's a response to something maybe you in their eyes you did that was foolish. But talking about like how Marissa say you have a conversation and talk to the person and you're ready to move on. I just say that if they reach that point then use a wise person who studied, yourself, you had a lot of background knowledge about us and the relationship and I catch where I'm coming from now. I know there's somebody will lash out and you understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
It was like
A rash decision.
Decision. I spot the woman decision. I know indeed. It's like, yeah, right.
Because obviously that things they go fight for, but I talk about if somebody really the reason why I'm saying that is I think some people really need to accept what the situation is in your relationship. They just have to do it. If it is the person was abusive, there were certain ways, and you have to accept they either move on. Some point of time you have to realize, well, watch me, I'm gonna go through a long journey, but I'd rather go through that journey with God or even by myself than be with you because I wasn't happy. And I'd rather be unhappy by myself than unhappy with somebody else. You know what I mean? You had to make practical decisions, and I think that one of the things is facing that situation. Huh?
Yeah.
You had to face it.
Yeah,
No, sometimes people say you had to face the
Um,
music. You had to face it at some point in time that is, watch me, things just not working out.
Yeah.
That the person is abusive, the person is cheat on you, the person is do certain things, and I just stop and say, you know what? I value myself more than this boy. I can't be going through this whole process over and over and over again and nothing changing. You know what I mean? So I encourage everybody out there. It's a hard thing, but I can tell you all, the Holy Spirit really helps you. He helps you comfort you, but he also give you real deep advice about yourself that you even know. Things about you that you don't even recognize and he help you overcome them because like I told you, we're not designed to experience at a banker. And when something like that happens, we need answers. I don't know if you understand. We need help in our heart to restore us emotionally. Huh? Yeah. We need help, things to help us. Yeah, closure.
To close the door to say, okay,
to move
I'm satisfied with this answer, kind of thing. But there's really nothing that satisfies you, except to me, the thing that satisfies you is when you think about it, how the relationship was toxic and how you were not happy anymore. That's supposed to be satisfy you. I don't want to live like that anymore. I'm done with that life. You know what I mean?
God more.
Yeah.
No, and I think to trust God in those things. It's like, I mean, after thinking back on everything, it's like, let me trust God more than this person in this situation.
Yeah.
All those promises, all those things the pastor has been reaching out to you about, the ministers in the church, everybody, they can't be wrong. All of them can't be wrong.
I was just going to actually say that too. That I forgot to mention that there's there could be a thin line between control and getting advice from the ministers of the church, right? But
Yeah.
if you have leaders that you trust and that have been in your life and they've proved that they care about you and they've been guiding you in the right way, you've been seeing the fruits of their guidance, of their preaching, of their advice, right? And if the ministers giving you advice and telling you, listen, this person, and they're telling you things, maybe they might discern. Obviously, you can't control anybody. I can't make anybody make a decision. But certainly, if I see something, I will come and tell you, because I will do that for my daughter. I always tell people, I would not leave my daughter in a situation where I'm seeing something, and let's say a young man she's with, and just leave her to her own and say, you know what, she'll figure it out. No, that's why, therefore, as a parent, to help her figure it out. So I will intervene and I will give her advice and say, honey, you may not be able to see now, but this guy, X, Y. And I would do the same for the members in church. And it's not like I'm trying to intrude in anybody's life. It's like you literally seeing it clearly and they cannot see. And sometimes it may not be that you're seeing it in the natural, but God might give you a word or tell you something, or, you know, you send something in the spirit and you tell the person, and it's out of love. We don't get anything out of controlling anybody's life. What I get out of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Out of me trying to make you unhappy or tell you, well, don't be with this person. So anytime, I mean, and Kerwin always says this, he would always say, if I choose to pick up the phone and call you to tell you, well, God say, or this or whatever, bet your bottom dollar it's really God, because he's not somebody to be intrusive like that and interfere in people's affairs or whatever. I might more just see something and tell you one time in a conversation or whatever. But it's always because of love. So don't be afraid to trust the elders in your life. And sometimes even your parents. Not, all parents not good and they may not have the best discernment, right? Some parents might actually lead you down a wrong road. But if you have been able to trust your parents in the past, right? And they've proven themselves to be, good leaders in your life and stuff, and your parents telling you the son, walk away from me. Everybody in your life that you consider is giving you advice to walk away. It might be a good thing to just listen, even though you're not seeing it. You listen, take the advice.
Marissa, there's a question I want to ask you, and she asked that, did your parents ever ask like, not necessarily, because like I say, the relationship wasn't like bad in that kind of way, right? But did your parents ever ask you like a simple question, like, how come all not married, or he didn't propose it?
Yeah, mommy did all of those asking, and but I also spoke to my dad too. I was like, Daddy, you don't think people before they move in, you don't think they should get married? And he's like, of course, and that's why I married your mother within 6 months and of them meeting each other. So it's like, so I listened to my dad. I listened to my dad there, and then for my mom was like, Marissa, I don't really want that life for you, I don't really want that dating life for you. And I was like, Mommy, it's true. So keep praying for me, right? And she said, okay, I'll support you 100% in the decision that you make to move away. Even though she really liked the guy, and my dad had or has, they probably still have a real good relationship. And I spoke to him about it. I said, Daddy, you know that me and this person is no longer together, right? So do not involve me in any of all the activities or whatever, right? And he's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And my dad, wonderful in that department, doesn't speak about him at all. He doesn't share any information with the person. My dad is like real hardcore there when it comes to me, our relationship. So I really appreciated that. So they guided me out of it also in their own way, without putting pressure or anything like that. But I mean, they're very Catholic, so yeah.
Okay. It means that they wanted to make a commitment.
Yeah, they believe that you're supposed to make a commitment. Yeah.
Okay. So the reason why I ask that is because sometimes, like as a parent, I think there's a clear thing a parent might ask in a relationship, like, oh, they together so long, and this person, and it's really to help check yourself, Because I would have asked the same thing to you, Marissa. I would have said, Marissa, so, you know what I mean? No, because you wait till you're trying to help the person. I know that. Don't worry. I just,
early you did. When you met me, it's like, Marissa, just remember, marriage is very important. The person in travel life is very important. You spoke to me about several things.
Okay. Amen. So, but the reason why I'm saying that is, the Lord would also help you along that journey. I mean, to help you realize, because within that time, I'll be honest, I could say I know Marissa, but no, she would have a lot of reasonings of why things didn't work out the way. You catch where I'm coming from, right? You might have a lot of answers. You even want to answer for the person. Well, the reason why we didn't get things is because of this and this and this and that. And no, at the end of the day, it didn't happen, and there's a reason for it. And I'm not gonna. It's unexcusable. You catch where I'm coming from, right? And what God many times want to help you do is build back up your confidence and how you value yourself and how you see yourself, and you realize, wait now, why? And you look back in life and you realize, wait now, I know this person for 12 years, and this person never even considered me that way. And you make decisions to say to yourself, well, watch me, I never want to go down in a relationship to ever be in that. I never even want to be in a situation. So you would see red flags and make you ask a question. You make you ask a question, like, do you see yourself getting married? You catch where I'm coming from now. You have real practical things that you had to live by because you know it is to be in a situation where because I'll be honest with you, right? A lot of men live like that. A lot of men, if they could have sex, especially in today's age, marriage is one of the last things men does really think about in that kind of way. Especially if they, like Mark said again, what they want. Men not going on, they're not going to go down a route of marriage and commitment in that kind of way. And me being wrong is good enough for a lot of men. They're happy with that. You catch where I'm coming from, right? Yeah. So I declare over your life, your next relationship would happen quicker than it. You don't have to wait 8 years. What do you say, Mark?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. And I don't think it'll be too hard. So you're going to have to ask the Lord to help you to choose the right one.
Amen.
Yeah.
The Lord will help a man direct a man.
Yes,
So we want to go to the comments, and we want to come back and hear what is going on. So, Mark and Eva, anything you want to share, Mark, you can take it away, but let me hear what is going on online. Because I'm sure if you have any questions to ask Marissa, you could do it, because maybe you're in a situation right now where you build up this kind of soul tie and you really just, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard for you to not answer the call. Sometimes it's hard for you to delete messages. Sometimes it's hard, and you really want to move past. And I encourage everybody, if any questions, now is the time, just ask it. And, you can even ask it in third party. I know a friend. Sorry, go ahead.
You know what's another thing I just remember? And I remember it because I brought up my stalking story. With me, stalking was literal. Like, you go places and stuff, and I could have drive too. But another thing people torment themselves and do is go on the person's social media and try to track them, who they're with, and see if they have somebody in their life. They go on their page, you know what I mean? And they
that's a new form of stalking.
That is how people stalk now. So they might not be calling the person, but that don't mean they let go. There's real stuff on the Instagram page, Facebook, they're digging up, you know what I mean? They're trying to find people, they're tagging pictures and who's this one, right? And so, stalking is part of letting go to. No stalking. No internet stalking.
Trust me, you don't want to see eating with. They know sometimes people is tag, yeah?
Right?
Eating with.
Or so and so just checked in here with.
You're going to start to cry, but you ready for?
As Nathan mentioned, social media, I understand the stalking part, but another practical thing to do is probably remove them. If you're on social media, is remove them from being a friend, because you may not necessarily be stalking a person, but you just go on to your whatever, you see it popping up, and then you start to think and you start to reminisce, and you remember this date you're and it puts you back in a place where it can bring self-pity and all of that dramas, and just put you back in a place where you really don't want to be. So next practical thing is just cut off the person on the whole in every single way that you cut off the person, cut them off.
Another practical thing I did, and it helped me like super tremendously, is like every picture that popped up on Google Pics, I deleted it. Every single picture that popped up, Google was wicked. Every picture, like last year, 12 years ago, 8 years ago, 4 years ago, I deleted everything that popped up. I deleted it. Also, even if the person popped up in my mind, I used to say, delete. Go back.
You delete it too.
Go back. Yeah, I would be like, no, I'm not gonna think about you. I just say, Jesus, you can have all of them. I send you back to Jesus. So
Amen.
it was a lot of shifting in my mind too with that was something like real hardcore practical, and it worked like a charm. So that's how I
Yeah.
was able to overcome the situation really, not necessarily easily, but it helped me on the journey.
Okay, good stuff there. So guys, remember that delete, right? So like Ralph, forgive me if I pronounce your name along, but wrong. What's wrong with my words?
Yeah, like and share.
Right, let's see. Focusing on yourself. Now these comments are way back, right? Because Kyle came to me like 5 hours later. Focusing on yourself and knowing what's best for you will be a big difference in that situation. Also praying and asking for the guidance and to keep you strong to move away. Susan saying good night to you. Self care is very important. Loving yourself and knowing your worth. Proud of you, girl. Andre Keeler Medford, let go and let God. We also added just keep away and let God take charge. So I see Mercer's getting some advice here. Lisa Medford says God is with you and he's faithful. Katrina says, I really applaud Marissa. You seem to have made very bold moves and listen to the Holy Spirit. Let me see. Abigail Hines. Abigail says it takes time, but there's a peace that comes. Crystal says exactly. The feelings don't just magically go away. Let me see. Crystal says, so you have to resolve that. Take time to get over. You reconnect with friends, etc. Right? Nick's mentioned doing these things. Risa Mark telling them what to do and not giving them moral support in the process can cause them to go back at times. Katrina says isolating will mess you up. And y'all say you need to cry for 3 days. 3 days, right? Lakita, people breaking up in this COVID season have it hard and curfew. That's interesting, Lakita. Boy Latifa says, I did that when I had lost a loved one. I drove and did fun things to get over, but as time goes by, you will get healing. Let me see. Ruel Josiah says, my gosh, I never wanted to be going from partner to partner. I couldn't take it. Risa says, truly giving your broken heart over to God and surrendering your all to Him helps losing yourself in Him literally. Let me see. Guys, remember, if you have any questions, you can go ahead and post them now, okay? Abigail Hines, I used to delete their number immediately, so I won't be tempted to call. What's the running number by heart? Chanel, well, let me see. She was probably responding to something. Chanel says being a stalker is a blessing sometimes, yes? So we see that play off in Onika life for sure. Onika is the #1 stalker. Lakita says she launched an investigation. So true. Everybody laughing at me. So I have $20 deposit. Deborah Taylor, good night to you. Let me see. Katrina says, I saw a hickey on his neck. So he called the same girl to show her in front of me to convince me it's not a hickey. I watched them and figured them for real serious things that be happen to people in this life, you know.
Wow.
Esther says the Holy Spirit is awesome. Let me see what we have here. Heart Angel says, Miss Onika, it's okay, you finish your story. I'm not sure what this person saying. I'm not sure what Heart Angel saying. Michelle saying, when I was going through my phase with my daughter's father, I prayed and asked God, next time he packs, I must not cry, but help him pack. And God comfort me, and I did help him. And I was good and feeling light. So he was a weight on my shoulder. Things go pull me out of. I appreciate him so much, and his spirit is always with me from small. You see that she asked God to help her, and God help him pack. Yes, that is a serious out there. Latifa, self-esteem and self-worth. Yes, true talk, Kyle. Katrina says, not many people can be mature about breakups, particularly when there's too much insecurity or emotional triggers on either side. That's why we have so much domestic violence. Like, I can't have, no one will. It's true. Katrina, Esther Noel, one of my prayers for my children is that God will give them good spouses indeed. Risa says, yes, 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 Kyle, the Holy Spirit satisfies, edifies, comforts, guides, lifts. Indeed. Lisa says, thanks for sharing. This is good stuff. Let me go down to, right, okay. Katrina says, Marissa, keep going strong. Michelle saying, 1 year Christmas morning, my daughter's father called his phone, wanted to speak to his mom. Later that evening, he engaged. I didn't even say yes. Ring was on my finger. Actually, I walked away from 3 engagements due to sneaky mails. Wow. Marissa, how did you deal with the rejection when he supposedly broke it off? And how long did it last? Marissa, before you actually answer that question, I just want to do my second giveaway. My second giveaway will go to Latifa. Boyk, I believe it's Boyk Latifa. Congratulations to you. You are the winner of our second giveaway tonight. That's the Amazon voucher. So for the 2 persons that win vouchers tonight, I believe that's Michelle Singh and Latifa. Y'all can just inbox us your email address, all right? And back to Marissa with answering that question. Let me just repeat the question for you. It's from Katrina. She says, Marissa, how did you deal with the rejection when he supposedly broke it off? And how long did that last?
So rejection, I did feel the rejection, but prior to the rejection, God did tell me I would feel alone. So it's like I was being prepared to experience the worst. So I really just buried myself in God over like a 2-week period. But the feeling of rejection lasted a long time, and it lasted a long time. It went for years. Could be for 2 years. But in that 2 years, I kind of like spoke to God a lot about various things about rejection. And it's almost like if God says that, Marissa, I won't reject you. So it's like I cannot, in that moment too, I still held on to God about rejection, and I didn't feel rejected after God and I connected on that level where God is not rejecting me. God is actually going after me. He's seeking after me. He's sending ministers to speak to me. He has people praying over me. People are praying for me right through. So I didn't feel rejection from God. And then I had to build myself back up. I can't remember how I technically built myself back up. I think that was like a whole process, but I was kind of very busy in work too. So as Onika said, there's a process when it says you have yourself very busy with friends and family. And then I did say that I kind of buried myself in church too. So the feeling of rejection would probably kind of resonate when it says I'm alone. But even when you're alone and you're feeling rejected, I did do some reading. I did do some Bible study around that time and lifted myself up with God. So it wasn't so bad. Even though I felt the rejection, it wasn't that bad. The worst feeling was when you actually heard it for the first time. And then like 6 months later when you actually felt it, like this Christmas you are alone. So yeah.
So Katrina also added, that's awesome. Did you feel at any point that you needed to go back in order to ease that pain of rejection, like getting a fix?
Nah, I never felt like I need to go back to get a fix. I didn't feel like I need to go back, but this person was coming back. So that's when I said I don't think he took me seriously, or when he said he rejected me, I don't think he was being serious. I think it was just like a tactic that he was using. So he didn't allow me to necessarily feel alone because he kept in communication with me. But I knew how serious him not proposing to me at that point. I know how serious it was for me. So it was real games, kind of technically strange I think somebody said some Twilight Zone kind of. I think
Hmm.
Lakita mentioned something about this sounding like Twilight Zone. Guys, it was kind of mess, but at the end of the day, um, I didn't believe. Eventually, I didn't believe that rejection was my portion, and I kind of realized that God is not rejecting me, and He's the ultimate for me.
Amen.
So I know He was coming after me. I know he was I mean, he was talking to me. God was talking to me about how to live and how you're gonna feel and what's gonna happen, how to move away, how to stop sinning. So the rejection faded away with God.
Yeah. And the Lord is helping, Tonika. The Lord is helping. Like for me, like if I was in a situation, I know people might think it's just words, right? But I went through it and I had to deal with it practically. That like if I was you, Marissa, one of the things I'd speak to myself, I'll be real. That's one of the things I speak to myself. I'd say, wait now, 32, 33. You want to be committed. You're willing to sacrifice for a walk and build my life. But you're not serious about me for sacrifice. You can try coming from now. I doubt that helped me make up my mind in that scenario that you have other commitments and I am not one of them. You can try coming from now. That's say you
I
committed to a lot of different things, way. And that would have helped me move past the garbage. You can try coming from now that people saying
Yeah.
because one thing people to say they can say something. But when it come down to the practical, when they say, well, all right, well, they want to make so much a sacrifice and commitment for other things. Am I a fool? They can talk about
Well,
from that. Yeah. It's
well,
one thing when
actually,
you're young, but it's when you're 30 something and somebody's still making decisions like that. That kind of weird. But you had him, Marissa.
I still feeling young too, but what I wanna say,
You're young, you're young.
Yeah.
so what I wanna say is that I realized I wasn't his priority.
Hmm.
I realized and
Yeah,
I accepted. I accepted. Hey, you're not his priority, So sort of emotionally jump out.
yeah.
That's
And that's what I was
yeah.
telling you before that men, they already know. A man will know, so as much as he may be going through, men does know that if he can make a priority, I'll be honest, a man will know if he find a treasure. I know Jesus teach you that, right? If you find a treasure, you go and sell everything you have to obtain it. You buy the whole field just to obtain that treasure in that yard. And Mark know what you're talking about. He went and sell everything to buy, he buy that piece of land and he treasure.
You spot on once you get something that you feel is invaluable, you do everything in your power to keep it. And we
I
see
Yeah,
that
agree.
you won.
yeah. That is a reality. I would, yeah, you think you whoever get a ring, he could do whatever he need to do to to make that
Thank you,
happen.
Tina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so Onika, is there anything else you want to ask her? Because I think we want to wrap up and we want to leave off with some powerful information here for some people. So anything else you want to ask
I,
Marissa along?
so
Uh-huh.
I want to tell Marissa that I hope I know, Marissa, you realize that he's the one with the problem, and he's the one that lost out. I heard you refer to him as the best thing since sliced bread, but
Yeah.
I think that he's actually the
Yeah.
one that lost here.
Yeah.
He's the one that has issues, and he is pretty flawed. I'm not, I don't know the person and nothing, and because I hear you talking and that you're still trying to protect sort of, you know what I mean? You're still trying to cover, you're still trying to, and nothing wrong with that. That's part of love. But once you understand that you are very, very valuable, and any man that would be very lucky, blessed to have you in their life, and that, so he was operating from a place of, I would say, I think he had a bit of dysfunction maybe in terms of his way to process love and the whole relationship thing.
Yeah.
Um, and so he's the one with the issue, not you. You
Yeah.
are prized for anybody. And as Kyle said, God is going to send somebody in your life, and it's gonna be a great blessing to you and vice versa. Yeah, so
Yeah.
just look forward to that.
Actually,
And, and
actually,
that and
guys.
that guy might never live up to the sliced bread, but just know you will get manna from heaven.
Well, actually, that same year, 2018,
Papa.
Pastor Cohen actually gave me a word. I was still sitting down. He said, he gave me a word. He said, you're gonna meet your husband very soon. And year after year, he said it. And actually, Monica, you told me this year, he's like, well, you're gonna get married very soon.
What? Oh, I thought I told you you're gonna get married this year because I don't ever tell anybody that. Like this year and this month, I would
Yeah.
say that. Why I told
You
you
said
that?
you said, Marissa, you know you're gonna get married like really soon, right? And I was like, I don't even have a boyfriend. But anyway,
Oh,
um,
I have no recollection of saying that. So I had to have been in the spirit, taken up into cloud or something.
but actually, what made the biggest move in my heart was about a year and a half ago when I prayed to God about it, because I know a lot of women have a concern in this area about husband and those things. What happened was I did cry out to God about a year and a half ago after the whole situation happened, and I said, Lord, I'm hearing this word, but having some difficulty believing it, that I'm actually gonna meet somebody better than him and all these different things. And what it is I heard is like, Marissa, trust me, I do have someone for you. I literally heard it, and I felt God's love like here in my heart. I was in the presence of love for a long time, and I'm still holding on to that feeling and that conversation that God had with me, and that was a whole year and a half ago. So I'm not worried at all, Kyle, guys, Bonica. I'm not
We're not
worried.
saying you're worried.
I don't
No, no,
think you're
no,
worried. I don't think you're
no,
worried.
no,
Yeah.
no. But I'm just saying for other
Yeah.
people who are out there who could be single and just still wondering, is that
Yeah.
I actually reached out to
Well,
God in a
everybody
special
now
way.
on this call know that you're single. So for everybody, Mercer is single.
You don't know if the girl meet somebody. Remember you said she got word
Marissa,
that she gonna meet somebody
Marissa,
soon.
Marissa, let's talk to me. If she had met somebody, she'd have tell me the same. She ain't meet
We don't know.
nobody.
We don't know. We don't
Right.
know if she allies eyeing up. She getting dove eyes right now. We don't know.
I never heard that phrase before.
So,
I never.
that's in the Bible.
I didn't read that part. But
Taking it
anyway,
strong.
but what I'm saying is that the love of God actually filled me up when I reached out to God in that area. So it
Amen.
kept me. It kept me. So I never felt as though I needed to rush into another relationship because of that feeling that
That's
God left me
awesome.
with. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's powerful.
that presence of God was so beautiful. It was so strong. It's like I just know that area of my life is gonna work out smooth, seamlessly, no worries,
Awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I and I can tell people that well, most people in Champion will know, but Mark specifically will know, or no, Nika will know through experience, but Mark will know, because Mark know me when I had the girlfriend and when I break up after, you know what I mean? So he will know the time, like, well, from whenever. It's been it was over 10 years that I did not have a relationship and I was happy
Yeah.
because let me real, when you go through a situation, like I told you all, I accept that I don't want to like settle or I don't want less, I guess, for my life because the Lord tell me about that for myself. I know I would meet somebody and different things like that, and I'm with somebody who I'm very happy. I don't know. She could have to speak for herself one day. I'm engaged. But my point is this, right? Within that time, it could seem like when and wherever the case may be, but I rather wonder than go through at a bank. If you understand where I'm from, right? I rather wonder when than experience something I do want to experience. That I do really want. You catch where I'm coming from, right? Because the process to actually many times overcome something bad sometimes could take longer than actually meeting somebody, believe it or not. Sometimes sometimes people go through toxic things for many years in their life, and carry it on into a relationship that they never really even dealt with, all from making a foolish choice. And sometimes it's better to be alone and walk with the Lord and allow Him to help you and lead you into a path that you'd meet somebody and you'd have to go through certain experiences ever again in your life. Because at its goal, God is a lover and He knows what's best for you, and He's also a father. So He speaks into your life, He directs your life, and I encourage everybody who's listening now to really take heart to that, to give yourself some time with the Lord, especially if you're right now, you need to make a decision, especially if you're going through a breakup right now. Many times I see people rush to go back into a relationship. They just, as they break up, they think one of the ways to overcome is just, I need to meet somebody and forget I going through this phase. Nothing wrong. The Bible says there's a time to cry, there's a time to mourn. Yes, you might cry and go try to bank. Sometimes you just have to accept that this is the season you're in and you just move on. But don't fool yourself and just rush back into the next relationship. That'll be one of the worst things they could ever do, because one of the reasons the relationship break up is partially your fault. What I mean is you didn't see certain things and you needed help in your own life. You catch what I mean? You got into the relationship and you didn't see certain things that you know what I mean? I say you will not be there in the first place. So sometimes the Lord want to help you in that scenario. Like sometimes you hear people, when it is they get married, they say, but God was telling me not to marry the person, you know. But you marry the person, what you want to do now? You catch where I'm coming from now. People just find all kind of reasonings to go through, to find flaws and to find whatever the case may be to run. The best time to run right now is when you're single. You can't go on, you can't just run when you're married. There's some things you have to walk through and deal with. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. So while you're single or while you're in this relationship, you could run. Trust me, you could make a decision and say, watch me, I good. I don't wanna go through one day and if the person secretive, there's lie, there's do this, unhappy. You can make them decisions now. You know what I mean? And Onika, I wanna ask you a question, right? There's somebody who's listening and maybe they went through, they have problems now. This it's kind of off topic, but it's still on topic, right? That maybe they have a child with somebody and it's very difficult situation now. How would you advise somebody now to deal with a relationship like that? That maybe they they was together with somebody, they have a child now and they have to maybe it's just a reality. The person then still be involved in the life of the child, they're not really, but sometimes they can make the relationship hard. It means not a relationship as in two of them together, but there's do things that can mess up the scenario and how somebody could deal with that, Onika.
So they with their
They're not with the
child,
person,
not
but
with their child's father or mother.
right.
They're not with them, right?
Mhm.
And you mean how to make that easier?
Yeah, how to cope with that because sometimes sometimes the other person will move on, or sometimes the other person real toxic. Like maybe as a man, and every time you go by the woman, she's throwing in your face. And it's sometimes a hard thing to deal with, and vice versa for the man. You know, sometimes your man could be real controlling and telling you all kind of degrading things, but at the end of the day, that's the child father, right? So how somebody could really deal with some of these things?
Boy, that's a rough one because as you just said, at the end of the day, no matter the man personality, that is the child, or vice versa, if it's a woman, that is their child, that's their offspring. And somebody having a bad personality is not grounds to keep their child away from them. Right? A lot of times you're going around with a man with the same nasty bad personality, but it's only when you break up you find he too nasty and bad for your child to be around. But before it was okay. Do you understand? When they was together, it was okay, the child could endure whatever. Same cussing he doing, the same whatever. But only when you all break up and he move on, now he too bad. My child can't go there again, or you're trying to keep the child, which is just be a kind of control thing and jealousy and that kind of thing. So my advice would be to find the peace of God in your heart and find a way to, how I should say, mediate in the situation with the child. Find a way to coexist with the man or the woman. Put your feelings, your past romantic feelings, put those feelings aside. Listen, once you have any kind of jealousy and stuff still involved, especially the other party move on, it's gonna be a set of back and forth with the child, which is unfair. So I would say for your child's sake, put any kind of romantic feelings or any kind of toxic feelings. Listen, throw those things away, especially if you know for sure we're not getting back together. This is not happening. No way we're going back together. The person move on. For your child's sake, you want to create the most peaceful environment you can as possible. And that might mean a little sacrifice on your part, a little humbling, right? If the person is living in a horrible condition, right? The place they're not safe for your child and you're really feeling like, whoa, I don't feel safe with my child being there. When you humble yourself and let the father or the mother, whichever way, come to the environment that is safe, where you don't keep the child away. So, okay, if the child can't go to the person's home, they can either come to the whichever home is safe and secure, or go to a location, say, okay, let's take the child out. But for your child's sake, you're gonna have to put aside your pride and your hurt. And some people want revenge. And the way that they get revenge, the revenge is by using the child. And that's just evil, right?
Yeah.
Some people say, aha, you want to play, you're breaking up with me, I have a trump card. And the trump card, unfortunately, is the poor little child in the middle. And anybody listening and you're in that situation and you are operating like that, that is an evil thing to do to your child, and even to the other party, right? Yes, they may not be perfect, but you have to find a way to live in peace with that person for your child's sake. And believe me, God will give you the grace. He'll give you the right words to say. He would give you wisdom too. If you pray, a lot of times people don't ask God for his wisdom. Like Kyle, they never ask.
Yeah.
They just with their emotions and that whatever feeling that is right there, they do that and they're spontaneous. They speak just out of emotional throw tantrums instead of saying, God, I know you have a solution here. I know you have wisdom. You said to ask and you will give. You will not hold back. Give me wisdom, God. I assure you, God will give you wisdom. I assure you. Not only me assuring you, the Bible says he will never hold back if you ask him for his wisdom. And so if you're a mother out there in that situation or a father, put your pride aside and your feelings and ask God for wisdom. If not for your sake, for your child's sake. So that they're already growing up in a broken home. Let them at least grow up at peace. Let them at least see mommy and daddy be able to have a normal conversation. How are you today? Fine. Okay, great. What time are you bringing him back? All right, you all have a good time. Nobody's saying you have no long talk. But don't let the child, even though you're a breakup, still see this toxic thing between mommy and daddy. And so you ask God for wisdom as to how to handle. I know all situations different. So it's hard to give advice, in one because it's all things involved. But what I can say for sure is that if you go to God for guidance and wisdom, he will give you. And you might need to humble yourself to take God's wisdom. It might take some humbling. And
you need that, sense.
Yeah.
Because sometimes God might tell you something you don't want to hear because it's the opposite of what it is you want to do. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's not easy to deal with.
Because God's way is love, God's way is love.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to show no, you want revenge, you want to hurt.
Yeah, because sometimes God is in the future of the child that he never really knew his father, and he see how that could affect. Sometimes a child might have to discover certain things about their father and their mother on their own. It's not necessary. You know what I mean? And they would come to certain conclusions on their own when they realize, well, daddy is certain things and whatever. But you should never be one being so toxic and saying your father told me this. And you should never be the person injecting that into your child. You catch where I'm coming from, right? Obviously, you want to protect your child if the person is abusive and doing certain things. But I think that is very important to know because I think people have to man up and woman up in a situation like that and accept the fact that both all they love each other once or whatever it is and all they sleep with each other and all they have a child today. And you had to realize that this is these consequences come when you play fast and put yourself in a situation like that. You understand where I'm coming from, right? That is life. And you had to be able now to wise up and do his best for the both parties. And like Onika says, sometimes they really had to sometimes you had to make some sacrificing choices and humble yourself. And even when you know the person, you might now break up on the person with the woman who you cheat with. You understand? The woman, she might be, and that might be the person, you know what I mean? And you had to humble yourself a little bit and know that your issue is separate from with the child in that kind of context. Mark, is there anything you would like to share on this whole topic or with some word of advice that people listening? Because there are people who really going through this, or as a married man, let's say somebody who going through a situation where they want to move on. Well, how somebody would deal with that? So you're talking to a man, you know what I mean? How you deal with that?
Yeah, well, I would say as a man, one of the things is real important out of a relationship and marriage eventually is children. But I mean, you want to think about everything in a whole sense. One of the reasons for a relationship really is for marriage and for destiny and for God to do a purpose in our life. God desires that we get married for a reason, and if the relationship has issues, at the end of the day, it's not gonna destroy your life or hinder your life. It can hinder God and the things that He would have wanted to do in your life. That you're so focused with these issues that you never get to deal with what God really wanted you to be dealing with properly. It could be a hindrance in your life and then in your children's life, that they don't get the proper foundation, that they don't see the proper examples and things. So I would encourage you, if you're in a situation where you know that the Bible says no tree by its fruits, right? And sometimes the situation itself that we in is come to an end and we go through pain and we go through certain things and it is not nice. But if you're at a place like that, it's a good thing in the sense that at least it ended. You didn't continue your life going through the suffering. And if it's God showing you that he wants this relationship to end, know that is for something better, is for a blessing. And everything that comes from God is a blessing in your life. Sometimes before a blessing, it might require certain sacrifices to be made. Like for instance, now, we on this earth and we have sin, we have urges, we have things that we would have want to partake in. But Jesus said we had to take up our cross, right? And deny ourselves. And likewise, God did the same. He denied himself of, just being God, and he came and he died and he went through so much suffering, and at the end he saw us. And I just want to say at the end of the day, know that you are bought with a price, and God have a calling over your life, both man and woman. And if God calling you to make a sacrifice, now it's worth it for what is going to come. So I want to say even to Marissa too, be encouraged. God has so much great things ahead of your life. And just from, in this interaction with you here, you have a wonderful spirit and thing. And, this is your time for God to really, he begin pouring his love into your life and being able to, change the way that, you're seeing love in a way that you never saw it before. I know God love is something that's blowing your mind at this time. And I just want to say the best is ahead, of you. And God does work fast. And God does do things,
So fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, Marissa. I know Kyle was trying to encourage you with his 10-year single story, but your portion would be 10 years, okay? Just
I wasn't trying to encourage us, telling people that sometimes you go through a season and it better to walk through that season than, I wasn't saying like
I
that.
know.
I actually said to her that she would experience the opposite. She would speak somebody and be quick.
He did. He actually did. He said the same thing. He said the
But
same
everything
thing.
had to be quick now because the world couldn't end just now. Just now. Watch out.
Yes.
Everything had to be quick.
Yeah, because Mark said it was gonna be quick. Onika, you actually said it was gonna be quick. Kyle, the three of you guys are telling me it's gonna be quick. So thanks, it's gonna be quick.
So maybe somebody you know already then. How it could be so quick?
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think there's somebody should know. I can't think of no candidates. Well, at least in champion. I can't think of any candidates. But I'm trying to help you off the bat one time. I don't think. No, but on a real though, you'll meet somebody. You'll meet up. There's something, Yeah. You'll love to help you, man. But yeah, you wanted to see something.
Yeah, well, actually, it was based on what Onika said. So she's like, she did mention, Marissa, you're trying to save the person. We're having a real conversation about stuff. But what I actually wanted to tell the viewers is that in the process of being in a relationship and thinking that the person was the best thing since sliced bread, I think it was a lie from the enemy, by the way. And I think I was under heavy deception. So what I wanted to share was how I was actually feeling at the moment. Now, I don't think so.
Okay.
Now, looking back, come on, no way. It had that's why I mentioned love languages, because I know the viewers would have been able to understand what to relate and know what I meant by love languages, and he wasn't exhibiting my love languages, so I didn't feel like if I was in a relationship actually for so long. And the reason why I stayed is because of the same thing Onika speak about. You don't want to move around, you don't want to go around, you don't want to go hopping. And also, the person it seemed to be a viable candidate at the time because of the same lie of the enemy, making me believe that he's the ultimate. So I had to break that lie off of my brains, my heart, and that's how I was able to think differently. And now my perception of the best, or my perception of somebody that I need to talk to, is not necessarily
much different.
A suit.
Yeah.
And that could flash me a lot of gifts. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That as you go through the time, you realize that there's a lot you learn, and you realize what you don't want and what you want. Because I know it's 8 years. Let's be real, and you wasn't with the Lord for all them time. So what I mean is just that 8 years you get familiar with somebody and you like somebody, and you get, because there's some people who right now listening and they get saved and they're with the person and God don't want them to be, but everything good. They're not with the same situation where they feel love, they feel these different things, they love them, but God wants something. I always say this, right? Walking away, once the Lord leading you, you'll always lead to something better. It always happen. God always do it. He never set you up. He told Abraham, leave your mother and father house, I'm going to carry in that land better. And if you say ask Abraham today, he was much more blessed in every way when he left. It means Abraham had much more land. He was much more wealthy. But he went through a journey with God. He had issues with his wife. She gonna have a child, and they went through different seasons. But God took him through, and he trusted God. And at the end result, God promise is much more fulfilling than any empty promise you could give in your life or a man could give. Yeah, God promise will always come to pass once you walk and you trust Him. So tonight we want to go to Ava. We want to thank Marissa for sharing all that powerful stuff. We want to encourage everybody who's listening. I encourage you with the last words I say, walking away. Sometimes it might seem hard, but once you're walking away with the Lord, and you're going to meet some better promises. Trust me, you're going to meet somebody who loves you more. You're going to meet, the relationship might be feeling as good as before, but you actually start to feel you're going to, because sometimes somebody needs to help you, and it might be a little tougher, it might be a little more, it might be somebody who maybe argue a little more, it might be challenging more. But you realize as you go along, you're actually becoming somebody that you catch where coming from, you're growing, you realize you're fighting, you find somebody who could fight for you, you catch where coming from, and you realize life is a better thing, and so I want to leave everybody to know that sometimes the best solution is to walk away. And I want you to know something. If God is leading along that path, it's for the best. You might know the answer today of why, but when you look back in your life, you would realize you was a fool and God had better in store for you. And he would lead you through that. Because even God understands the bank is a real thing, He understands your feel situation. So He can't tell you everything. You can't remember, He can't just solve all the issues. He understands it's a relationship and He wants to mend your heart, and He understands that's a process, and you would walk out with Him. So Ava, you take it away. I want to tell everybody good night, and we'll see you all soon. Ava, you good, man.
All right. I'll just go back to a few comments here very quickly, just so that we don't leave out anyone, and we'll close off. All right, guys, and obviously I'll announce my final giveaway. Now this is back to where Onika, I think, was talking. So Patrina, where she's talking about kids and so on, Patrina says you might jump from the pot into the fire, take time to process, heal, and grow. So this was when Carol was talking about jumping into another relationship. Boy Latifa says they need to communicate no matter what, put their differences aside and deal with everything and better in your child's life. So this is where the child part comes in. Patrina says some people use the children as the rope in your tug of war. That's serious. Renal
we need to have a show with these women, boy, who have children, and to help the women. But go ahead.
Renal Medina, speaking from experience here, only deliverance can fix that, and allowing God to mash up that soul tie. I'm a witness and can definitely testify about that. Patrina says, for the children, say keep the peace, bite your tongue. Let me see. And Andrakila Medford. All things work together for good for those who love Him. We have some amens. Fruitcap says, hi Marissa. I don't know who Fruitcap is. I don't know if Fruitcap is a man, but who knows? Patrina says, I know it was heavy deception, spoken from a true place of wisdom. Let me just say good night to somebody here. Just saw a name, Samantha Rambaran. Good night to you. If you tuned in late, and this is for anybody else who may have tuned in late and they felt like they would like to see everything and get the full story, you could feel free to always view our show on our page on Real Talk on Facebook, guys. And it's also always in YouTube as well. So feel free to subscribe, click on the notification bell so every time we go live, you're here with us, because a major part of the show, as you can see, is us being able to communicate with you, whether it be answer questions or hear points of view or just say hello to you, all right? So be sure, if you like what you saw tonight, make sure and like the page, share it to a friend. Maybe you, after watching the show, you know what it was about, and you say, you know what, this could probably bless someone. Be sure to share it. And of course, guys, there's always giveaways. So next time you see us here and you know we going live, bring a friend, so maybe your friend can win something. And my final giveaway will go to Andre Keeler Medford. Congratulations to you. You are the winner of our third and final giveaway tonight, which is the Amazon voucher. So congratulations to all of our winners. Be sure to inbox us your email addresses, guys, so that you can receive your prize. And very quickly, I just wanted to say, I cannot remember if this is something that was touched on. I think it may have been, because sometimes when I'm reading the comments, I don't get to hear everything being said. But I think practical, mental, spiritual, everything kind of thing to do is also adjust the way you see yourself. Because I think sometimes part of the reason why people may stay in a relationship that's toxic or is not necessarily good for you, because that's the only reason why you really want to get out of a relationship most times, right? It's something that's not good for you. Sometimes what is keeping you there is you might think you deserve it, or you might think it's okay, or something along those lines. So I think it's important for you to adjust the way you see yourself and really see yourself in Christ and believe who you are in Christ, and know your worth. All right, so that's also some practical and spiritual advice that you could actually use and apply in your life to really get yourself out of a relationship. Because when you see yourself a certain way, you realize, wait, this is not something I should be accepting, or this is not a road I want to go down. Yeah, so that was real quick. I just wanted to put that in there. Mark, you have anything you want to say? I think this is it.
I think a lot of great information was shared tonight.
Yes, indeed.
I just want to say, God is your father, and God has given real good advice. So get a new word, read the Bible. You're going to see what God's opinion is on a lot of things, not only relationships alone, and you won't be guided wrong. Every decision you make guided by God, going to bring good fruits in your life.
Amen. Right, guys? So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe.
Yes, we have service tomorrow. Going to be awesome. It's like a worship service from what I hear, and there's a word on the streets. So, you can tune in tomorrow at 12 o'clock on Champion Dynamics International Ministries, and you're going to be blessed and experience God's presence.
It's true. Guys, don't eat too much junk food when certain things open back up. Stay safe, and it was really awesome sharing with you all tonight. I hope to see you all in the next show. We are here every other Saturday at 7:30 p.m. All right, so be sure to join us in our next show. And of course, you can always inbox us, message us even here if you want to let us know a topic that you maybe want to hear us actually talk about that you never heard us talk about before. Right? Feel free to share that with us. So enjoy the rest of your night, guys. It was lovely spending the night with all of you. And take care. Bye bye, everyone.
All right,
Stay
take
safe.
care.
Bye.